Lord howdy. I tell you what, it's been a long Thursday from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We went over to do a friend of ours' steps, had to make it into a ramp because she broke her hip and now she's unable to walk steps. So we had to make her a little ramp in her house. Got that done. We pulled up the linoleum. Oh, excuse me. Got it ready to redo her kitchen floor. And we just been busy little people. So anyway, after I got home, I turned on my computer and I have, 4 or 5 notifications that I have randomly come up about certain things that I like to hear about. And some of the notifications I got was just crazy, just slap crazy. Okay. I'm going to pull you up one, I think, maybe, hopefully, maybe, I doubt it. Let's see, it might be on that one. Let me see here for a minute. Let's see if that was it. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, come on, pull it on up there. Yeah, that's the one. This is out of the world, man. I'm telling you, you gotta listen to this.
Howdy, everyone. Douglas Ducote here, founder and CEO of Veterans United for Justice, veteran law enforcement officer, and the co-host of Real World Witness. Look, I need your help. I need you to help me make this video go viral. I need you to share it. I need you to share it on Twitter. I need you to share it on Facebook. I need you to share it with your friends and family. All right? We need to shut down what's happening right now with the governor, Chit Brown of Oregon.
Listen to this.
This gets out of control.
This is crazy.
Okay? This would be her. I'm going to refrain from calling her a libtard because I want to be a little more professional with this video. So instead of calling her a libtard, I would just let you know that she is a Democrat. She is the governor of the state of Oregon. Now,
I cannot believe she done what she thought she could do.
President Trump has said that he has told the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security to get together and put together a plan for the National Guard here in America to go to the border and help protect it until the wall is built.
Yep, exactly.
Right? His concern is the MS-13 gang members that are coming across, killing people, the drugs that are coming across, killing people. And we all know that it's possible for terrorists to get easy access to our southern border. Not to mention the illegal immigration that's flowing across here, taking away our jobs and our money. Where
taking over the country.
Immigrants get more money to help settle them down than our veterans do. All right. So he has not signed an order yet to activate these National Guardsmen. All he did was sign a letter saying that, look, we need to put together this plan. Tell me how you want to do it, how we're going to implement it. And then from that point, he will take and activate National Guard to what's called Title 10, which puts them under federal authority of the president and on active duty status. Okay?
Now listen, real close.
On just that, Governor Chit Brown, I'm going to refuse from calling her a libtard. I'm just going to call her a Democrat because she's a Democrat.
A devil.
Tweeted out the following. There's been no outreach by the president or federal officials, and I have no intention of allowing Oregon's Guard troops to be used to distract from his troubles in Washington.
Watch this shit.
She followed that tweet out with, if at real Donald Trump asked me to deploy Oregon Guard troops to the Mexican border, I'll say no.
Yeah, okay.
As commander of Oregon's Guard, I'm deeply troubled by Trump's plan to militarize our border.
Uh-huh.
Now, this woman, Governor of Oregon, Kate Brown, I'm not going to call her a libtard, I'm just going to call her a Democrat, is also a lawyer.
Yep. Check this out. This is
Not
crazy.
to mention the governor.
Uh-huh.
And she is about as dumb as a box of rocks.
Uh-huh.
If she believes in her little brain that she has the power to disobey a Title 10 order from the President of the United States.
Yep.
So let me educate you, Democrat Kate Brown, Governor of Oregon. I'm not going to call you a libtard. I want to call you a libtard. But I want this to be more professional, so I'm not going to do that.
Call her retarded.
When the president orders National Guardsmen Title 10, you no longer have control of your National Guard troops in your state.
That's right.
None. Zero. Doesn't exist anymore.
Uh-huh.
They are under the president's authority.
Yep.
Federal authority. They are activated at that point to active duty military status and no longer fall under your leadership or command.
That's right.
You only have the ability to control your National Guard when they are on state active duty status and or Title 32. Now, the fact that this has to be explained to you is dumbfounding.
Yeah,
I'm just going to go on an assumption that you know all this.
Yep.
And this is a political stunt to appease your libtard base up there in Oregon.
Exactly.
That are throwing flowers and peace signs out to everybody down south. Come up to Oregon. We will watch over you like California does. And we will protect you from the mean old president up in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, okay.
It's my personal belief that you can't be a governor and a lawyer and be this stupid
No,
to
yeah,
believe
that's
that
what
you
I'm
have
thinking.
the power to refuse the president on something that you have no control over, no authority over.
That's
when it comes to Title 10, the activation of National Guard troops.
That's right.
Now, for those of you that read my bio, you know that I served active duty military, active duty, the real active duty, as well as the National Guard. All right. So, although I'm not an expert on the National Guard or an expert on active duty.
Lay down. This ain't for you.
This is just basic facts, all right, that you can get off of Google if you'd like.
Uh-huh.
You can go to the National Guard websites and get this information, all right? When the President of the United States activates National Guard troops to Title 10, he becomes their commander-in-chief, period. Not the governor. The governor is completely taken out of the loop at that point.
Uh-huh.
Right? That's about the easiest way I can possibly explain this. There's a little more detail to that, okay? You can find all that online at the National Guard Bureau or at the Pentagon's website and so forth, okay? But that's the basis of this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's pretty much cut and dry.
And to the point.
I'm going to post, along with this video, in the information section, what I would like for you to do and who and where you need to go. I'm asking you, besides just sharing this, I'm asking you to go to Governor Kate Brown's website. And on that website, you will find at the top, there's a section that says Meet the Governor. Click on that. Then kind of towards the left of that page, it says Share Your Opinion. And you fill in your information, you share your opinion with the governor. This woman, Kate Brown, governor of Oregon, Democrat. I'm not going to call her a libtard. I want this to be professional. And then go to her Facebook page. Do the exact same thing like I have. And then give her a call. 503-378-4582 or 503-239-8631. That'll be posted as well. We need to stop this liberal madness in America.
That's all I do.
And when a governor of a state is this freaking stupid that they believe they have the power to do something that is completely and totally 100% out of their control.
Makes a lot of sense,
she needs to go away.
That's right.
The people of Oregon need to rise up come election time and vote her ass out of office to save the reputation of your state. Because right now, your governor is making you look like a bunch of libtards.
Yeah,
thank you. Please share, as always. Please follow me on Facebook, American Patriot by the Grace of God. Also, my nonprofit, Veterans United for Justice. And I'm on Twitter as well. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military.
Amen.
Our law enforcement officers, our first responders, our veterans and their families.
Right.
And also a special prayer for the pilot with the United States Air Force Thunderbirds flight demonstration team who lost his life yesterday in an accident preparing for an upcoming air show. Not sure what happened. I just know that he was either he didn't get to eject or he ejected and something went wrong. But regardless, please say a prayer for this person's family, and they haven't been named yet, but they will be probably by the end of today once family's been notified. But say a prayer for them and the entire United States Air Force Thunderbird team and their families, because they're grieving pretty hard right now.
And that's what he had to say. And if that isn't total nonsense on what she was trying to do, and just goes to show where the politics are as far as the Democrat side, Lord help us. So anyway, let's see what else we can find on here.
What's going on, America? This is Kevin.
No, I don't want to do that. Okay. All right, now here's another one. Let's see. Do we want to go there?
We live here in North Carolina.
Yeah. All right, this is Diamond and Silk.
See your face to face. So make sure you get your tickets at diamondsilk.com. Click on Chit Chat Tour. Yeah. Okay, do you have any look? All of your contributions, thank you. Easter cards, thank you so much, you all. Everything that you send us in the mail, thank you so much for that.
Let's go on with
that out of the way. Okay, all right. So now you all, let's do a little talking. So yesterday, still, they honored Dr. Martin Luther King on the 50th anniversary of his assassination, right?
Yeah, we got all that.
Sharpton said.
Yes, it was this. Go ahead, because I heard it. So go ahead.
He was basically saying, you know, he wanted to, it was basically, he tried to disparage the president. He tried to just smear him, you know? He basically said that President Trump was reintroducing the things that Martin Luther King stood against. And I said, you know, you would think that Al Sharpton will use his platform to talk about what things that Martin Luther King was for.
That's right.
You know, how he wanted us all to come together.
He was for equality.
He was not for us to be apart.
That's right.
You know, he was not for us to be segregated, but he wanted us to come together as Americans.
As Americans, right. But see, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of times you segregate yourself from the process of what's going on as far as being an American.
Right.
People have called you minorities for so long, you think you're less than.
You think you're less than.
And it's time for everybody to look past the skin color and realize that we are one race and that's the human race.
Exactly.
And as long as you sit on your platform and use your different platforms to bash the president, the only president I know that's been working really for the needs of Black folk, Al Sharpton, because you Black leaders that's been sitting on your hind parts ain't did one thing for Black folks, and unless it's a police shooting, and then you out there trying to see how you can make $1.50 off of.
No, don't say nothing.
Well, I'm so sorry.
But he was down there at that funeral in Sacramento, California.
Yes.
Preaching that boy's funeral.
Right.
But his half-brother has been charged with capital murder.
That's right.
I wonder, did he preach that girl funeral that got her head blown off?
That's it.
I wonder, did he go preach that?
And
Dr. Martin Luther King, he was for Black and white,
holding hand in hand
together.
And one thing I want to say is that why is it that anything that goes down in this country, they want to blame our president now?
That's it.
Yeah.
What
You want to blame Trump for a lot of stuff and Black issues that's happening in the Black community.
Right.
But what about when you had to have Black president in office?
And he didn't do anything.
He didn't do a thing.
Don't blame, you can't blame Trump for this foolishness.
That's right.
And why are you upset with the president for the president wanting to keep people safe? I don't get that. I don't get that. But the one thing that I love about one of Dr. King's quotes, and here it goes. It says, if you can't fly, then run.
That's right.
If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And I think that these old heads need to move this movement forward. Right. You can't move it forward by placing blame, by blaming our president today for all of the foolishness that's been going on that really went on under the Obama administration.
That's right.
Because the Obama administration changed the trajectory of the United States of America.
That's right.
We don't even, I didn't see a lot of this foolishness up under Bush, but I sure saw a lot of foolishness up under Barack Hussein Obama.
And you said move it forward. The Black leaders have been stagnated in the same old thing. Girl, they've been marching for years.
Right.
Talking about we shall overcome. And they don't realize they done already overcame. And it's time for all of us to come up.
And I don't want to call this person names. I'm going to call him Hoghead. I'm not going to even call his name.
No.
But we put out an article the other day about him.
Big Mouth Hoghead.
Hoghead. Saying something about a reporter on MSNBC saying that she was basically implying that she's not allowed to quote Martin Luther King's quote. She can quote Martin Luther King quote. Martin Luther King wasn't just for equality for just Black folks. It was equality for all folks.
That's right.
Okay? I think that they got this. And I'm twisted. And I believe that if Martin Luther King would come back, he would be very disappointed.
He'd be more disappointed.
The old head is still carrying out the movement.
The same old.
He would be very
Whenever it's not there, we can eat at the same lunch counters together. We can use the same bathrooms together. We can walk through the front door, even though sometimes I still got to walk through the back.
I love walking through that back door, honey.
But we can do those things together. We can own a business just like our counterpart, our white counterpart. We can do a lot of things the same exact way. But when you have these Black leaders that's so stuck in the pains of their ancestors, way back in the day, they so stuck, girl, worse than molasses. Just stuck, just sitting right there in the thick of things, talking the same old BS and ain't trying to do nothing different and wonder why things not changing. It's time to change them. Get your butt out the way.
Right.
Just get out
and
the
if
way.
they don't want to pass the baton, I'll tell you what, then don't have a baton.
That's
just
right.
End it. And we'll start another movement.
Because when we was all born, we all was born with our own minds to think for ourselves.
That's right.
Why do Black folk need a leader?
And you don't need them. And to my Black brothers and sisters, my white brothers and sisters, my Asian, my Hispanic brothers and sisters, the ones that snuck off that Democratic plantation to see your sisters tonight, welcome. Well, welcome to the show. Now, some of them, you may see them trolling. That's because they're not used to being treated nice.
That's right.
No worries. We just block them and we'll keep the segment moving. So don't you even worry about it.
And a lot of them is not used to being free. They don't even realize that the shackle has never been on their feet. It's always been off.
It's always been off. But when you got these black leaders making it look like that, and I'm appalled with Al Sharpton when he say the most salacious, uninformed foolishness.
Yes.
And you, what did our president have to do with him commemorating the 50th anniversary
of the assassination of Martin Luther King? Yeah, that's right.
What did he have to do with that? Why are they taking a pull our president?
That's what I'm about to say. Yeah,
they want to keep him in some kind of foolishness.
Any type of foolishness stuck to show race divisiveness. That's how they do that for the weak-minded black folk that want to stay stuck on the Democrat plantation.
Right.
They keep you stuck there by using what I call trigger words.
Right.
Anything to try to keep our president tied to racism. But 40 years ago, our president been in the public eye for what, 20, 30, 40 years?
He's been in the public eye.
Not one time did they call him a racist.
Until he started running against old crooked, nasty, low down Hillary Clinton.
That's right.
And the reason why I got to call her crooked, nasty, and low down, because she is.
That's
right. And speaking of Hillary Clinton, so we was on Fox and Friends the other week, and I can't remember how I said it, but I mentioned something about Hillary Clinton need to be concerned about that dossier.
That's right.
She need to be concerned about how she sold uranium to Russia.
Yeah.
And they have nuclear weapons, right?
That's right.
Okay, so let me explain that, because I got a lot of, not a lot of tweets, but some people, she didn't sell uranium to Russia, and Russia already had nukes. Okay.
Well, what people did is they took what you said out of context, just like they do with President Trump.
Right.
They took it out of context and they ran with it to try to make it some type of blog or story or whatever, so that people can make it seem as though you said it this particular way.
Right.
And you didn't say it that particular way.
But let me explain to you, when it comes to that uranium deal, as far as I am concerned,
that's right.
Hillary Clinton knew the Canadian company, the fellas that worked there, her husband, they knew that those people wanted to sell that uranium.
Okay.
Hillary and her husband, do you know they got $2.3 million that was donated to their foundation?
That's right.
Okay. All right. So why did they get that? Because of that what? Allegedly because of that uranium. Okay, this is the kickback. Now the patty was whenever the uranium was sold to Russia, the patty was Russia patty and gave Bill Clinton that speaking fee $500,000.
That's right.
So kickback patty now we got to give a dog a bone.
That's right.
Okay, you see the bones that they got? They got $2.3 million to a foundation, and then they got a $500,000 in speaking fee. Now, let me make sure I clarify this. Hillary didn't deliberately say, here, Russia, but she undercoverly did it. And she got paid for it. She was Secretary of State. She had clout. She had power, baby. And when you have clout, when you have power, that's what happened. It was some paper play going on. Now, when you on Fox, they only give you like 3 minutes to talk. So you can't break everything down. You got to hit this and keep moving.
That's right.
But I wanted to break that down.
Yeah.
As far as I am concerned, Hillary Clinton is the one that is responsible for Russia having that uranium.
Right.
Not only that, I know that Russia already had nuclear weapons, but guess what?
Why?
They're now making missiles.
Yeah.
I wondered
that can reach the United States.
I wondered did it come from some of that bomb-making material, which was uranium, that they gave Russia.
And not only that, Obama is also responsible.
Absolutely. Both of them.
Yes.
See,
all three of them.
Clinton, that's why they all.
Bill,
that's why
and
they be upset
Obama.
with Donald Trump.
That's
and
right.
all
They
the
be
rest
upset
of
with
them.
our president because our president is cutting off the gravy train.
That's right.
You ain't gonna be doing no paper play up in here, boo.
No.
You're not gonna be doing that.
No.
And then they
if Hillary Clinton was president right now, half of America would be sold.
And not only that, our jobs will be shipped overseas.
Yes.
And the American people will be riding dirty.
Oh
so I don't need you texting me, tweet me, or emailing me and asking me to clarify anything.
That's
Especially some of you that can't even put two sentences together. Now I know sometimes I can't talk.
That's right.
But some of these people don't have a word to say.
All you gotta do is Google it.
All you gotta do is Google it. So I had to clarify that.
That's right.
Okay, speaking of clarifying, girl, let's get to Roseanne Barr.
Okay.
So you know her show debuted last week, right? But last night it was on again, and the ratings was off the roof again. Yes. I mean, people are just so excited about her show, right? Yes. Okay, so let me give y'all the 411 on what's going down. Well, on Tuesday night episode, a joke about ABC minority-led sitcom Blackish and Fresh Off the Boat upset a lot of people as much as the Trump storyline did last week. So people that watch, I guess, Blackish and this other show, I guess they upset with Roseanne's show.
They all upset.
Okay. Now they claim that the star Roseanne has also stirred up some controversy due to her comments in support of Trump. Okay. So on Tuesday, Roseanne, the character Roseanne, and her husband Dan, John Goodman, are sleeping on the couch. Okay. This is the setup. And the TV is on. And Roseanne and Dan wake up. And Dan say, "What time is it?" Dan say, "Did we miss dinner?" And then Roseanne says, "It's 11 o'clock. We slept from Will to Kimmel. We missed all the shows about Black and Asian families," Dan says. And then Roseanne responds, "They're just like us." Well, this was likely a well-intentioned comment to demonstrate that Roseanne itself is trying to show working-class Americans and Trump supporters who aren't seen much on TV. Right. But many people, they didn't appreciate that. So she said that. Okay. Now you got this show upset, that show upset. Yep. You even got I heard the producer of Blackish talking about moving the show, and they want to move the show because they wanted to do a piece about Kaepernick kneeling on the knee. Okay. And the producers, not the producers, but ABC, the network, like, you can't show that. Right. And I get why. See, what Blackish don't understand, just because your show centers around Black, just because your show centers around Black, that doesn't mean that that's your really true core supporters because you have a Black show. Right. You got to look at the demographics, and you got to look at who go out and support these football players. Right. Is it all Black people? Because Black people only make up 14% of the population. Right. I want them to understand that. Right. How many millions of people really watching your show? And what you cannot do is you cannot offend people because I'm sorry, I don't care how much Colin Kaepernick was on a GQ magazine, how much time had him on a magazine. Right. Still, he was not popular. He is not popular. He's just popular around you. Probably 12% now, because probably a lot of people don't go along with that food. Black folk. Yeah. But a lot of people like, you don't kneel on the flag. Right. And a lot of these people are patriotic. That's right. And another quick note. Blackish is one-sided. It is, I'm sorry, it's one-sided. Okay, the show used to be a good show. And I used to watch the show. Right. But it just became too far to the left. Way to the left. So I'm like, you know what? I am tired of all of our Black shows just talking about just black. What about American? And I believe that's why some of these Black shows got canceled. That's right. A lot of these Black shows are being canceled. Yes. And they think, oh, you're not showing diverse, but you cannot be too far. You got to be balanced. Yeah. And then what if you had a show named Whitish? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is that going to fly with Black folks? Then they'll be talking about something that's racist. You see what I'm saying? You know, I'm just looking at that right there, okay? Yeah. We want to call everybody else a racist and a racist, but look at yourself. Check yourself first, baby. And Roseanne Barr show, it is balanced. It's fair and balanced. And it's not just about politics. Right. It's about everyday family things. People are really excited about seeing different things from a realistic perspective, a realistic point of view. Yeah. Is what I think. I think people are excited about the balance. Right. It shows some conservative views, and it also is balanced. It's not just conservative. Some of these shows just lean one way. It's not just conservative. It's a balanced show. And she's funny. That's right. And then once again, you got the people on the left who want to take her words out of context and talk about what they think she may have been trying to say. But I think they're jealous. Yeah, because see, Blackish used to be one of the highest rated shows, and now you got Roseanne beating them all of them, beating every show out the boom. And if they put Diamond and Silk on the show, it's gonna go overboard.
You ain't seen nothing, baby.
You talk about ratings, girl.
Y'all think y'all know Diamond and Silk now? Woo! Oh my God. But you got a far left actor and a producer have a total meltdown. He went into total meltdown mode over the success of Roseanne's show. But he was saying things like, Roseanne Barr has a tremendous power to use her social media to push pro-Trump political messages to millions of Americans. But the left have been using their platform to bash the president, to bash Americans who support the president, even down to mocking the president and his family. So please put a sock in it and get out of here.
That's
because look at this, what's his name? Jimmy Kimmel.
He mocks the first lady and about how she speaks. But what he don't understand on Jimmy Kimmel, she speaks 5 languages. How many do you speak?
How many?
He's such a moron, exhibiting moronic behavior.
Oh yeah, but is he a racist?
He need to build himself a box and get in it, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right.
Because I think he is. That is showing some racism. Because imagine if a white person mocked a black person, they would consider that as racist.
Like a
or if a white person mocked a Hispanic person or a Korean person,
the left would be racist. Homophobic, homophobic,
so I think that him mocking the first lady, that do seem a little racist.
And it's very disrespectful. Leave our first family the hell alone.
And leave our first lady alone. Because she speaks 5 languages.
That's right.
She carries herself with poise and grace. And you just jealous. Because there's a lot of salacious, nasty, foul, gutter-written stuff on your behind.
That's right.
Why don't you take a look at them videotapes that's out there about you?
You
nasty, low down. Ooh, I can't think of a good word because all of them is bad words.
And you know we got
tell it, woman, tell it. Woo. Get on it.
Get this tramp or whoever this is off of our
Get the tramp off of our stuff.
I just blocked him.
Yeah. And then Mark blocked that one too. Yeah. Got it. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Okay, we have to block some of these people.
Yeah.
See, I get it. Because a lot of these people come off the Democratic plantation. So you do want to come over here. You do want to down what we do and what we say.
Yeah.
But if I was talking about drop it like it's hot and have your clothes all the way up here to your neighbor and go have 5 kids out of wedlock and go head on back for some food stamps, you will be liking that. But because I got to tell you the naked, nasty, low down truth, now you get upset. See, they don't have no comeback. So they talk about your eyebrows. They talk about your skin. They talk about all of that. But you can't come to the table with your You can't tell me that I'm wrong.
That's right.
You can't tell me that what I'm saying is wrong.
That's right.
I want to keep calm because people be like, Diamond, you talk too loud. Okay.
No, you just get excited. And you have a right to get excited because I'll be right there with you.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay, listen, these illegal aliens caravanning to the USA border makes demands and requests asylum.
Check this out.
You can't make no demands if you ain't in command. I mean, no, you can't make no commands if you ain't in demand.
That's right.
Okay, all right. So it looked like, did we put out a tweet? Or did the president?
We put out a tweet.
Yes, we did. Yeah. You want to read it? You want me to read it?
We said, wow, illegals, and this here right here was just a comment that we put out. Wow, illegals think that they can make demands for something they're not entitled to. Here's our demand. Do it the legal way, get in line and wait your turn, or better yet, make those same demands to your own corrupt government in your own country.
Thank you.
Bam.
And I wanted to say, damn country.
We can't stop all
the
that.
The deal is, girl. It wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough letters. Now, Twitter done let you write a book and you still didn't have enough letters.
We didn't have enough letters because how you going to come to our country making demands?
Can I say this here? Because this is my compassion.
Yeah.
Compassionate.
Go ahead on and get compassion.
I want people to understand. We're not saying that immigrants can't come to our country, right? What we're saying is when you come here, you need to do it the right way.
That's right.
You need to get in line and wait your turn.
Exactly.
And the reason why you've had people that were immigrants that migrated from another country, that got in line, that did it the right way, that paid their fees. So what do you say to those people?
That's right.
How dare you march to our borders, think you can just walk in and make some demands for us? Why don't you demand those rights in your own country? Stand up to your own government.
Right.
Get somebody like a Trump in there that would drain that swamp so that you can have economic opportunity in your own country. Because right now, this president is putting the American people first.
And it's more of y'all that's marching that can be right there in the government. The government ain't but a few folks.
You can go up there and march up there with them.
Well, I'm talking.
The president tweeted, the caravan is likely broken up thanks to the strong immigration laws of Mexico and their willingness to use them so as not to cause a giant scene at our border.
Right.
Because of the Trump administration actions, border crossings are at a still unacceptable 46-year low. Stop drugs. So even though it's low, we still got to stop people from coming in like that because they're bringing in drugs. Then the American citizens are out of their mind. And then they're committing crimes and doing crazy stuff and getting themselves hurt. So we have to stop this.
And exactly like this legal immigrant said, he said he came to this country 45 years ago.
Right.
He was not offered a sanctuary. He was not offered an easier, softer way. He worked hard and put in his time. He said that he has his paper hanging on the wall called a naturalization certificate that says he is a proud United States American citizen. He said if he can do it, then every dreamer, every person that's undocumented can do it too. Amen. And when he said it, girl, it was like a mic drop.
Bam. You know, I'm so happy to my Hispanic brothers and sisters that were immigrants that did it the right way. Stand up for yourself.
Yes.
Because I find it appalling. I'm offended by it. That's right. It's just like, for example, doctors. Yeah. They have to go to school for all of these years here to practice medicine. That's right. Really, they only practice. And let me just say this about the doctors.
Go ahead.
They don't do preventative care no more.
Right.
What they want you to do is they want you to go ahead on and just have a heart attack. Now they get to treat you. See how they practice? They practice medicine. Right. But they go to school all of these years to practice on you. And thank you for my doctors.
Yeah.
Thank you for you all, but I see the scheme.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
The gig is up.
And real quick, the president sent the National Guards out. He sent the National Guards out to protect
the border.
But really quick, because our time is expired, I really wanted to say.
You just cut me off. I was going to make a point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I can't remember my point.
But when you remember, you cut me back off. I'm so sorry, sis. Bush used the National Guard in 2006. Obama used the National Guard in 2010. And now President Trump is using the National Guard in 2018.
Right.
In 2006, George W. Bush devoted 6,000 National Guards to a 2-year commitment in support of border control. Right. It was called Operation Jump Start. And in 2010, President Obama deployed 1,200 National Guard troops and requested an extra $500 million to secure the Mexican border. Wow. I said all of that to say this: leave our president the hell alone.
That's right. And my point was, I want to make it real quick. Doctors. They go to school all of these years to become doctors, right? All right. Now, what if I just woke up one day, and said, I'm going to be a doctor, and I want to go practice some medicine, but not go through the school? And it's just like people that do hair. They do hair out of their house, but they won't go to school to actually get the license. The people that have gotten a license are offended by that. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I made that point to say, you got to get in line, you got to wait till
and you got to wait till
not march to our border and think you just going to walk up in here. No, we're going to have some waiting on down there that border for you. Now they don't send the National Guard.
That's a wonderful point. That's a very, very good point that you just made. Because if the doctors have to go to school in order to
pay their way to go to school, do what they do.
You just wake up one day and say, I feel like a doctor today, and I'm going to put on a white robe here, and I'm going to go out and start practicing medicine.
But you ain't paid your fees. You ain't paid no tuition.
You done set up shop and done named the doctor somebody.
It's Dr. Feel Good.
Feel Good.
Dr. Feel Good.
Yeah, girl.
Dr. Feel Good.
Where
am I?
Tell him, girl.
One quick thing. You have President Trump. Okay, you got the different states that is for the National Guards coming out there to the border. Like California.
Oh, California want a trip?
California
and I already turned that place into a sanctuary city, looking like a third world country. And now y'all want a trip, and y'all want more of that? Every American that stays in California needs to tell these career politicians to kiss where the sun don't shine. And that's why all
follow.
You can change who you're voting for. And it's sad that we have Democrats running these states and these cities in the ground. That is so sad. That is so sad.
So now right here we caught up with Mueller.
Mueller, okay. So Mueller, you are speaking of just sad. Mueller is
okay. He wants to ask. He said something about the president.
Okay.
Something about he basically let the president know that his intention for this investigation is not
on the president. Right.
And that's a lie.
Yeah, just the president need to watch Mueller.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mueller investigation exceeds the scope of special counsel law, which requires the scope of special counsel to be specific.
That's right.
Rosenstein created the special counsel with the scope that it is so broad, it is not supported by this law. Mueller accepted the special counsel position with no conflicts of interest because Mueller is Comey's homie.
Yeah.
The two men were former colleagues, have long been friends, allies, and partners.
Yeah. Agents
have quipped that they were joined at the hip while at the Department of Justice and the FBI. They have a mentor protege relationship. The likelihood of prejudice and favoritism are glaring and severe.
So Mueller should have recused himself.
Oh no, it's money.
It's money.
You know how many millions of dollars Mueller is getting to keep this here to prolong it going, and still there's no evidence.
That's right. And you want to sit down talking to our president, Mr. President? No.
Don't sit down and talk to him.
That's right.
Because any little thing you say,
they're
gonna take it and they're gonna twist it. He ain't no better than the fake news. Really. Rod Rosenstein signed FISA application to spy on Trump. And you know, they want to say the President Trump brought up the fact today he was doing a round table. And he brought up the fact about how illegal aliens come over here. Some of them are rapists. They're raping people right there at the border. The young women that's trying to get in. They're raping them. And they want to get upset. Oh, the president is just staring up something. He don't know what he's talking about. But y'all said he was doing that when he was being spied on. He said, I'm being spied on by the Obama administration. They called him crazy. He didn't know what he was talking about. Now look, so the very fake news, you got to be crazy if you think you're going to believe it.
You got that right. You got that right.
Let me complete. But he never recused himself from the Mueller investigation.
That's right.
In addition, Mueller brought in a team of Obama leftovers and Clinton donors to form his investigation team, who had no intentions on performing an independent investigation. That's right. So the entire team is corrupt.
It's corrupt.
Everybody is pretty much corrupt as far as I can say. Now, how are these people not going to be biased? You got Hillary Clinton running around here talking about Russia, talking about our president, and she ain't even the president. But you got her donors working on the investigation to try to find something out on the president. Really, they're trying to undermine his administration.
And what the heck is wrong with Sessions? Jeff, I love you, but your session is over. It's time for Jeff to go because we need somebody that's gonna have our president back. We saw this BS happening years ago, a year or two ago. We talked about all of this stuff, and now it's unfolding. It's coming out, and now you see it clear as day. How the heck is Mueller, Rod Rosenstein, James Comey, they all working that right there together. You got Lisa Page and Peter Strzok sending text messages together by being biased on this right here. You got them signing FISA application to spy on Trump for what? Girl, this is just crazy.
It's very crazy. It's very, very crazy. It's very, very crazy. And my deal is that, you know, Americans look. Because these are our tax dollars.
That's right.
That's being wasted.
That's right.
This here foolishness.
That's right.
Speaking of foolishness, girl, well, a 38-year-old woman opened fire at YouTube headquarters. Okay. So here is what I got. So just before 1 p.m. on April the 3rd, 2018, an active shooter was reported at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California, United States. 3 people sustained gunshot wounds. An additional person was injured while fleeing the building. Police reported that the shooter, a woman, died from a self-inflicting gunshot wound. So I think she went there because she was upset because she was demonetized. Her videos was demonetized. They wasn't paying her any type of attention. And she went up there, honey, and she took matters into her own hands. And now they said, I'll mention head because now they said that she was mentally she was mentally ill.
Let me tell you something. When you messing with somebody's bread and butter, these people take and set these platforms up for people to be able to really make a living off of this here thing.
Right.
And then you take and come and pull the rug from underneath their feet. It can make a person go crazy. You take their food out of the baby's mouth, the money out of their pocket. So what?
So what?
And I just saw her little videos. I just saw her moving around. What was she?
I think she's a PETA activist. So I think that she's sort of vegan, and I don't think she eats meat.
Okay.
But the deal
that's her platform.
That's her platform.
Yeah.
And we've been talking a lot about censorship.
Yeah.
And how I know that they are censoring conservative voices because Diamond and Silk, we always get censored. But you know what? We got somebody to talk about that with us.
Yeah.
Joe Seals from RSBM. When we come back, we are going to talk to him about conservatives being censored. We'll be right back with more Diamond and Silk Chit Chat.
I'll tell you what, if they ain't on the money, I don't know who is, because they got it dead to right. Everything they said is just slap ass crazy. And I tell you what, this world's going to hell in a handbasket if it ain't already. And if we don't get these Democrats out of here, and these lowlives, and these two-facers, and these backstabbers, and these life stealers out of the friggin' way, we ain't going to have a friggin' America. We ain't going to have a nation. It's going to be so off the wall, it ain't even going to be worth living in. Put it that way. And that's what I got to say about it. Let's see.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah, okay, got that. No, got that.
Go.
Come on now.
I believe in 2015.
All right, hold up.
Over a year, probably not even quite a year after the president won the presidency, we've noticed that a lot of conservative voices was being cut on these social media platforms.
Yep.
People were being demonetized. Platforms were being demonetized.
We were being demonetized.
And people could not hear other people's point of view, right? And so one of our guests tonight, his name is Joe Seals. He's from RSBN. He started a platform back, I believe, in 2015. Now, he may have had it further. We'll discuss it with him. But he started being censored on these social media platforms, YouTube.
Yeah.
So please, you all, welcome to the store. What am I doing? Welcome to the show, Joe Seals. Sorry, Joe. It's like I couldn't get it all out. It be all bubbling up to me, and I'm like, okay, let me get it all out. Okay. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's such a pleasure to be with you guys. We love you guys at RSB. And you want to talk about two of the original OGs for Trump is Diamond and Silk and RSB, and we were out there on the campaign trail fighting. No one else was yet, so we were.
Yes, we were. And I can remember. Let me just tell a little quick story. Let me calm myself down because I'm so excited. But I remember, Joe, we was it Raleigh or either Greensboro, and you all RSPN was up there, and this is the first time I noticed that we were being cut. When I made the statement about it's sad that we have a sitting president campaigning for a crook, and everybody had cut the feed, but RSBN still had the camera on it. And so we can always trust that RSBN was going to get the full footage of everything.
That's right.
And that's why.
And then after he chopped it up, he sent us the piece and we put it out there.
Yeah, because we knew that the mainstream media wasn't going to put it out there.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show. I'm sorry I sort of messed that up. Okay, so let me ask you a question. How long have you been on YouTube?
So RSBN began in 2015. We noticed, as you did probably too, that, Trump complained a lot about not getting a fair shake from the media. They never show the crowds. He would always talk about they never show the crowd. They would sit there. They would not spin the cameras and show the crowd. So that's how we were born. I had an idea. I said, you know what? If nobody's going to show the crowds, I guess I'm going to have to. So we started sending people to the rallies, and we became extremely popular amongst Trump supporters. Our videos started getting millions of views on YouTube. I mean, we were pretty much a household name among Trump supporters during the election. And, we started working with the campaign some and helping him to really to bypass the mainstream media and take his streams directly to the people. So he started broadcasting our rallies on his Facebook. So about 3 years now, we're almost at our 3-year anniversary.
Wow. Okay, so let me ask you this here. So when did you notice that YouTube started playing these little mind games, like with the demonetization? When did you notice that? Around about what time?
So to be honest, it probably began after inauguration, after Trump got. That's when it seemed like everything started. You know, things were going really well for us all through campaign season. We never had any issues with any demonetization or anything like that. And, you know, right around after the election, we started noticing something's not right here. You know, our views were going way down. We weren't even being shown in search results anymore. Wow. And we have 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. So when you start a live stream, you have 300,000 subscribers, and you have 150 people watching. You start, something's not right here because they're not sending out notifications to our subscribers. So it really started happening after inauguration. That's when we started to notice something's not right here. And really crazy things like censoring our broadcast completely. Like if you watch some of our videos, we'll be covering a news event, and then they will just stick their logo up on the screen, black out like they'll black it out for 30 seconds or whatever. And people will think the broadcast has ended, and then they'll leave the stream, and then our broadcast comes back. So they do some really weird stuff to us.
Let me ask you this here. Have you reached out to anyone at YouTube to find out, okay, why are you all messing with me? Why are you messing with our platform?
All the time. They supposedly offer, I don't know if you guys have experience with their customer service. When you have 100,000 subscribers, you're supposedly given access to their great customer support, but they don't give us anything except for generalities. Most of the time, they don't know what we're talking about when we complain about it. They're unable. They have no phone number, so you can't call them.
Right. Yeah.
So really, the only thing we've been able to do is shame them on social media and call them out on social media and say, "Hey, why can't you fix this? It's been over a year and you still haven't fixed these issues." You know.
Do you view them as biased, as being discriminatory against you?
Well, I think so. I think that obviously, just as Facebook and as Twitter is, I think all of the Silicon Valley companies lean, more to the left. But I always didn't want to believe that because we always had such a good experience with YouTube last year through the campaign. I mean, we never had issues. They let us do our Trump rallies. Nothing ever happened back then, so I figured, well, if they were going to do it, then would have been the time to do it. But really, as you see all the things that are happening to people like you and other conservatives on YouTube, really that's the only conclusion you can arrive at, is that they have a problem with people espousing their opinions. I mean, people of the opposite side. And my thing is that, if you're so confident in what you believe in, if you're liberal or leftist, if you're so confident what you believe in is the right way, why are you so scared to have opposing voices on the air? Are you scared that people might change their minds? So.
And I don't think it's an opposing voice. It's just another voice. These social media platforms are designed for like-minded people or people that have different mindsets. That's not like-minded, but different mindsets that come together.
It's a difference of opinion.
And share ideas. And now it seems like that they turn into this entity where it's only one idea, and it's a liberal idea.
I mean, this is America. This is America, and this is America. We have certain principles and beliefs here in this country that other countries don't have. We are supposed to be. It's the idea that people can govern themselves, and the idea that free speech is so important. And once you say one particular thing, or if you say, in taking certain things away, it's a slippery slope, because then other things start happening. And I think it started with conservatives, but next it could be liberals one day. So you would think that you would welcome all voices. Let's all have a discussion. Let's all just say what's on our mind. If you're offended by it, don't watch it.
There you go. Thank you.
Right. Let me ask you this here. So with the demonetization, that means that they stop, like they can't play commercials around you. So did you see your money fall too? Did the money go away as well?
Absolutely. Our revenue has been down 95%. Okay. Since we're at the end of the election. The ad revenue used to be our bread and butter. off YouTube. But we started getting the yellow demonetization symbol next to most of our videos, probably back in the spring of this year. Before that, the ad revenue itself had already been declining. But in April is when we started to see a nosedive. I mean, just people wouldn't believe the budget that we were operating off of. And, that's why we're so unique, is that we don't have large investors or big donors, because we don't want other people to tell us what we can and can't say. So we're completely viewer supported now. That's the only way we're able to stay on there, because of YouTube and doing that. And then Google has even taken away our ability to put ads on our website. We can't even put Google ads on our website anymore. And the only reason that they gave us was because you were using our ads in a way that violated Google policy. I appealed it, and they said, sorry, we deny your appeal, without giving me a reason.
Wow. And then they want to know why people become combative, and want to go up there and do things. Listen, you cannot mess with people's livelihoods. So let me ask you this here: what are you doing for revenue? Because you still got to listen. We love going over there when a rally comes on. Like he had the meeting today at the round table. I was on RSB watching it. So what are you all doing for revenue?
So believe it or not, probably 80% of our revenue is from viewer donations. That's how we stay alive. We have the most amazing people who have supported us, continue to support us on sites like Patreon, and that donate through our website and stuff like that. They continue to keep us alive because they know that there will be another election coming very soon. We all, it seemed like yesterday that Trump won, but in another year or so, the Democrats are going to be out there campaigning already and getting ready for 2020. So they know that there's going to be another need for us in 2020 because
I know one thing: the bigger they are, the harder they fall. This too shall pass, and what they're doing, it is not going to work.
It's not going to work.
I always say you may not pay what you owe, but you will reap what you sow. And what a lot of these different companies is doing to conservative voices, to suppress us, to censor us, to take and demonetize our platforms. I'm telling you, I know a guy that sits high and look low, and this will not work.
Let me ask you this here, Joe. Do you see this, a lot of this here, happening on the left? I know that we saw a left wing, you look like she was a liberal with her PETA program, and her stuff was demonetized. But do you see a lot of this here that's happening to us? And I think it's because we support the president.
I know it's because
and his agenda.
Yeah.
But do you see a lot of this here kind of thing happening on the left? Like, have you viewed videos and said, wait a minute, well, if I'm demonetized, how is this here suitable for advertisers? Why aren't they demonetized as well?
Well, the overwhelming majority of it is directed towards the right. That's just the way I've seen it. Now, I've heard scattered complaints from people on the left that says, hey, my video of my, aerobics or something, or my cat has been demonetized. But with us, I think what it is with us and channels like yours and channels like ours is we're on a blacklist. I think we're on like this list, this naughty list, where they say, look, give these people trouble. Don't monetize most of their videos or any of them or whatever. And the rest of them may just be scattered incidents of videos getting demonetized here and there. But when you put out as much content as we do and as much content as you guys do, and all of them get demonetized like that, or the majority of them do, and they give you the option to appeal that demonetization. But the problem with that is when you appeal it, it takes them sometimes 2 or 3 days to get to it, and then after that, nobody's watching the video.
Nobody's watching that. You go to the net.
Yep, just like they did right there.
Because we're on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. We see shadow banning on Twitter. We see algorithms in place to dumb down everything on Facebook. They won't let us show up in the feed. And then we see them stopping the demonetizing our platform on YouTube. So how is it for you on Twitter and Facebook?
On Twitter, we haven't noticed any censoring yet. I mean, we only have 50,000 followers on Twitter. We've just recently started to broadcast on Twitter. So Periscope, when we do anything on YouTube, we now go to Periscope. So hopefully the censoring doesn't start on Twitter. On Facebook, I will say some really crazy stuff happens. We can simply be broadcasting a White House press briefing on Facebook. We have 200,000 people on Facebook that like us. We could be broadcasting a White House press briefing, and Facebook has removed those posts before of just a press briefing saying that we remove something you posted because it violates Facebook's policies or terms of service or something like that, with no explanation whatsoever. And I've shared screenshots of these before on social media where it just makes no sense. And the thing is that you can get no explanation from them because there's nobody telling them you can't call somebody. They don't answer it. Whatever they say goes because they have a monopoly on this stuff.
Right. Okay, Joe, listen, how can people donate to send you some revenue, donate to RSBN, because we know that stuff is about to get ramped back up for the 220 election, and President Trump is going to be out there doing his rallies. So how can people donate to you?
And we're gearing up for 2020 and also for the midterms, and we can't do it without people's support. So if anybody wants to support us, there's a few ways to do. You can go to our website, rsbn.tv/donate. That's the best way to do it. Or also, if you want to get some free stuff in exchange for a monthly donation, you can go to our Patreon site. It's patreon.com/RSBN. If you want to mail a donation in, all that address and information is on our website.
All right, Joe.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm telling you, thank you for enlightening us on what's happening. It's happening to thousands of conservative voices, but you know what? We have to stand strong. We have to stand together.
Yeah,
we will overcome this.
That's right.
And we will be the one sitting back laughing at them for trying to silence us.
That's right.
And mess with our free speech.
That's right.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks so much.
I'll have you back, Joe.
Bye-bye.
Messed up, man.
I'm telling you, it's happening, you all. People don't understand the things that, and this is what makes us so mad.
Yeah.
When you take nothing and you build it, and then you have some little young geek sitting up there in California on the computer saying, I don't like what you're saying, and then try to stop you some kind of way.
Right.
I think that is unfair, and I think it's unfortunate.
Yes, it is, especially when you've had this platform for several years doing the same exact thing, and now all of a sudden something is wrong with your platform. But when you go to somebody else's platform, you see them killing each other. You see them fighting each other.
Right.
You see live shootings and all of this different stuff.
And they let that stay on
there. Or people take our video, put it in their video on their platform, get millions of views, but when we put out that same video on our platform,
we can't even get a good 3,000.
We can't even get
people.
Even though I'm just taking the voice, I'm not taking the video.
These platforms won't let anybody see them. Yeah. I mean, really, the way they've taken and they've done their algorithms, they've done thumbing down the videos, even on Facebook. When you follow and like our page, you are supposed to receive a notification.
That's right.
That says, are we supposed to come up in your news feed?
Yeah.
Facebook ain't even doing that no more. So they violating their own policy.
Yeah, but I always say, when one door shuts and closes, a big old window is going to open. And no man's going to be able to shut it.
And no man's going to be able to shut it.
Yes.
So you all, that's Joe Seals. Make sure you all go over there. Make sure you support him. RSBN, when you want to know when there's something breaking, normally somebody is owning over there. RSBN, you can Google it. RSBN, their YouTube channel will come up when the president's doing his rally. That's where we really watch it at. That's right. Sometimes the news won't show everything. They show parts of it. That's right. So everybody head over there to RSBN and make sure you donate. Listen, these channels, you all, are important. I think Diamond and Silk channel is important too.
Very important.
All of our channels are important. Yeah. But RSBN been here too, you all. So make sure you all support them.
Well, let me see how I can do that. Which is right there. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to do it like this. We got split screen. Do it like that. Open you up. And go YouTube. And go to bam. Paste. Yeah, okay. Live stream. Okay. Yeah, he is on there. Alrighty then. I'll hit you here in a minute. Alright, now Diamond and Silk is fixing to close up on theirs because they're 59 minutes and right now, and it's an hour and 2 minutes long, so they're fixing to close up. But you get the drift of what they're saying. You know, it ain't right. We're being used as pawns and getting cut down left and right, top to bottom. And if you think this is right or fair or American, it ain't. It's far from being American. Americans like to treat people decent, have compassion, have decency, have manners, you know, has a heart, has a soul, and has feelings. Now, if you don't have none of that, you don't belong here. It's just the way I'm going to put it. Bam, Sam. Now, after I done said that, I'm going to hit another little notification I got. And this one is, I hope it ain't the same one.
Listen, these channels, you all, are important.
Yeah, okay.
I think
okay,
Diamond and Silk channel is important too.
Very important.
All of our channels are important.
Yeah.
But
okay.
RSDN been here too, you all. So make sure.
Okay. So I done got that, so I can delete that one. I don't know how I ended up with that one. Now for that, where the fuck? All right. There it is right there. Let's see. Okay. Right Side Broadcasting Network, TV 24-hour news and chat live. Let me check them out, see what they got going on for a minute. I'm gonna have to go to. Alright, hang on. Alright, what you got?
Well, you told me you still love me. Girl, how could it be if you still want your freedom? You ain't want me, so what about me? What about us? What about love, baby? What about love? What about consequences of the dream? What about me?
Okay, let's see what's going on here. Well, come on. Where am I going to get you guys at? Come on. What the fuck? Trying to find something here. I ain't finding what I'm listening to.
Why should dancing so long?
Alright.
Nobody knows. Nobody.
Alright, hang on a minute. Let me see what the heck's going on here. Alright, that was 6 hours ago. Okay. Alright, let's see what we got going here. We don't have anything. So far, nothing.
He voted. He also voted against. He's doing a.
All right. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to get this right. Alright. Worried you can't vote because of your something. Don't worry, you have choices. Ronald Carter. And we can do it after that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Alright, let's see what's going on here. This is 6 hours ago. Let's see. And that RSBN, that's Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'll put all that in the description here or something, whatever. See if I can get that on there, maybe. Well, they ain't gonna let me do it. Oh, wait, okay. Well, let me do it then.
That's good music, isn't it? Well, thank you all for being here. And I don't know if you know, but your state is doing very well. West Virginia. Big Jim is doing a good job. Much better since he turned Republican, too. Nobody liked him. I know him for a long time. He's a friend of my boys, and he's doing a great job as governor. So thank you very much, Jim. Appreciate it. And we're on television nationwide talking about that, Jim. That's pretty good, huh?
Just keep talking.
And he's definitely the biggest governor too, right? And we'll take that also. Thanks, Jim. But it's wonderful to be back in West Virginia. It was a very special place during the election for me. It was not even close, was it, huh? And a lot of things have happened with your coal and a lot of other things that you're doing in West Virginia, but they've all happened for the positive. And actually, you're one of the most successful now, percentage-wise, you're one of the most successful in the nation. And I could not say that during the election, right? Before we got elected, it was not doing so well. And a lot of factors, but we got it going. And I'm very proud of it because you are very, very special people, that I can tell you. I want to thank you. Nice hat. Look at that beautiful hat. I want to thank Jim and Attorney General Patrick Morrissey and Senator Shelley Moore Capito. Hello, Shelley. Congressman Jenkins, Alex Mooney, David McKinley for being here today. All here. Thank you very much. Thank you. So now, once again, you see that America is open for business. The numbers are fantastic. The results are really incredible, what's happening. We're being talked about all over the world. One of the big things is our tax cuts. You know, they used to call it tax reform, and for 40 years they couldn't pass anything, and they didn't know why. I said, how is it hard to pass tax cuts? Turned out it was not that hard. It was not easy. But we changed the name. I said, because, you know, being a person that's only been doing this for 2.5 years, I said, don't use the word reform, use the word tax cut. Because when you talk about tax reform, that could mean your taxes are going up, and your taxes went down. They went down a lot. And I always tell the Republican politicians, because the Democrats have a problem. I mean, if you look at your senator, he voted Joe, he voted against. No, it was bad. I thought he would be helpful because he talks. Grabs me, I grab him, says hello, I say hello. But he votes against everything. And he voted against our tax cuts. I know it was bad. And he also voted against medical help and health care. And that's bad.
Yep.
And we can't have it. So, you know, it's one of those things. And he does other things that I don't like, I'll be honest with you. He does other things. So, you know, you're going to have a chance. You're going to have a chance to get a senator that's going to vote our program. It's going to help you in so many different ways, and you're not getting that help right now. I mean, we didn't get one Democrat vote for tax cuts. And when you think about it, it was
Something
more than
wrong
tax
there,
cuts
eh?
because
Don't
we
you
got rid
think?
of the individual mandate. When you get rid of the individual mandate, that was a disaster. That was the most unpopular aspect of Obamacare. This is where you have the privilege of paying a lot of money in order not to have to pay for health care, right? That's not too good. And we got it out in our tax cut plan. And we also got Anwar, energy, big energy. I'm into the world of energy, as you know. And nobody does it better than you folks. So it's very important to me. But it's really great to be here. We're going to have a discussion on how to get the country moving even more so. You know, you probably saw that for many years, no president wanted to go against China economically. And we're going to do it. We had a trade deficit of almost $500 billion last year with China. And I have great respect for the president of China, President Xi. He's a friend of mine. And I'm a friend of his, and I like him a lot. But he's representing China, and I'm representing the United States of America. And it was time that we did something. We can't continue to have, I spoke with Jim just coming in, and Jim's a great businessman, and he said, you're right, we can't continue to allow this to happen, where hundreds of billions of dollars is taken out of our country and our system, where if they make a car, they sell it here, it's 2.5% tax. If we make a car and try and get it into China, number one, they won't take it. But if they did, it's 25% tax. So they pay 2.5, we pay 25. They don't even want to take it. That doesn't sound so good. But it's all like that. And we have our intellectual property, and a lot of people don't understand what that means. And it doesn't matter if you understand it or not. You understand the concept of being taken advantage of, and we can't be taken advantage of any longer. So exactly, we're at a point where we had to do this. Our economy is strong. Our jobs are great. We're going to come out with numbers on Friday that hopefully are going to be fantastic numbers. Companies are doing really well, and you have to go after the people that aren't treating you right.
That's right.
And in many respects, I think we're going to have a fantastic relationship long-term with China, but we have to get this straightened out. We have to have some balance. And that goes for other countries, and it goes for other places. If you look at the European Union, it's very solidly against us in terms of trade. It's very unfair. Look at a young girl shaking her head. Yes, you know about the European Union? It's like, it's almost, we can't even do business. They send their cars over here. They send everything over here. They don't want to take our product.
That's something wrong. That's a
So
one-way door.
We can't let that happen. Do we agree with that? We can't let that happen.
One-way door. That ain't right.
We're working very hard on NAFTA with Mexico and Canada. And, you know, we'll have something, I think, fairly soon. And I told my people, there's like a story, I want it before we're making a trip next week to Peru, representing all of South America in different places. And it'll be very interesting. But they said, let's have NAFTA before. I said, don't rush it. Take it nice and easy. There's no rush. You get it done right, or we'll terminate. You know, if we don't have it done right, we're going to terminate. When I was running, I said, we'll terminate NAFTA or we'll renegotiate it. And Mexico's been pretty good. They were very good to us yesterday because, you know, they had the caravan of thousands of people coming up from Honduras. Thousands of people. And we have very weak laws because of the Democrats. And Joe Manchin is just, he's really not helped us on this stuff. So we had very, very weak laws. We have the worst laws. We have a thing, catch and release, which we're terminating very quickly. We're doing it in pieces. No, it's unbelievable. Think of this. So we have a country where if they step 1 foot, not 2 feet, if 1 foot hits our country, we have to take those people, gently register them, and then release them. Okay, we're going to release them essentially in a short period of time. So we release them. And then they're supposed to come back for a court case. We hire more judges. We're trying to hire thousands of judges. No other country in the world does it. We hire judges so that these people will come back. Now, they're on the land. We release them. They go someplace into our country. They're supposed to come back within 2 or 3 years for a court case. but nobody ever comes back.
Right.
It's bad enough to say, come back in 3 years, but nobody comes back anyway.
Uh-huh.
This is our country. If you have a baby on our land, congratulations. That baby is a United States citizen.
That's
We're
right.
the only one. Now, Mexico has very tough policies. They can do whatever they want, which is the way it should be, to be honest. You're violating something very sacred. You're violating a border. Canada, very, very tough. Very, very tough. And Canada is very merit-based. You come into Canada, it's got to be based on merit. With us, it's a lottery system. Pick them out, a lottery system. You can imagine what those countries put into the system. They're not putting their good ones. And remember my opening remarks at Trump Tower when I opened. Everybody said, oh, he was so tough. And I used the word rape. And yesterday it came out where this journey coming up, women are raped at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They don't want to mention that. So we have to change our laws. And the Democrats, what they're doing is just, it's insanity. Nobody understands what's going on. So we have to have strong borders. We're going to have the wall. We've already started building it. We have $1.6 billion. We've started building it and fixing miles and miles of wall that's already up and fence. And we're going to have our wall, and we're going to get it very strongly. The military is going to be building some of it, but we're going to have very strong borders, and we have to change our laws, and we're working on doing that. And believe it or not, if you look in California and you see what's happening, it's an incredible phenomenon because sanctuary cities, it's the worst. It's basically a city to protect a lot of people that are bad people, really bad. You look at Kate Steinle, you look at so many other things that have happened in our country, and they're protected. How about the mayor of Oakland, where she tells 1,000 people to get going, law enforcement's coming to get you. And this was all planned, and many of them scattered. And it was pretty much a failure. I mean, to me, that's obstruction of justice. And something should happen there. And it hasn't, and I don't know why it hasn't, but something should happen there.
Yeah, thanks.
So we're toughening up at the border. We'll be, I think, in great shape over the next 12 months, we'll have a lot of things happening. But we cannot let people enter our country. We have no idea who they are, what they do, where they came from.
Right.
We have no idea what their records are. We don't know if they're murderers, if they're killers, if they're MS-13. We're throwing them out by the hundreds. You know, we've gone into towns in Long Island where we've taken MS-13 and we've actually liberated towns. This is our country, right? I grew up in Long Island, right short of Long Island. And these are great towns. I know every one of them. And they were taken over by thugs, they talk about guns. They didn't want to use guns. They used knives because it's much more painful, where they cut people up.
Yep.
Because a bullet's too quick. They want to inflict pain on students, on young women, young girls walking home, and their parents never see them again. They're cut up. And this is the kind of stuff and crap that we're allowing in our country.
That's right. That's right.
And we can't
Think about it.
We can't do it anymore.
Amen.
You have to see, there's some scenes of the ICE people. They're fantastic and they're tough. And by the way, that's the only thing that these thugs understand. They don't understand, oh, isn't he an intelligent young man? Isn't he wonderful? He studied so hard in school. They only want tough. That's all they understand. And these ICE guys are so much tougher than them. And they're grabbing them by the necks and throwing them into the paddy wagons. And the people are clapping and screaming. Their town's been liberated. It's like it's a war. It's like literally it's a war where your town or your city or your country's been liberated.
Yeah.
They're clapping because even the law enforcement, some of it has a hard time. But we've taken out, we're moving hundreds and hundreds. You saw it 2 days ago, we caught 101 of these MS-13 thugs. They're the worst probably the worst of the group, but other gangs too come in. You just don't know the names. But the MS-13 seems to be emblematic of evil, and we're getting them out by the hundreds. But they can come back in. They can come back in. It's tougher, but they can come back in. So we're working out systems now, and we called out the National Guard, and we're doing a real job. But I'll tell you what, the laws of this country have to be strengthened and toughened up because it is crazy. How about that? Catch? That means you catch them. Now you release them. That's what it's called, catch and release. Just think of it.
And how stupid is that?
Chain migration. Think of that. So you come in, and now you can bring your family. And then you can bring your mother and your father. You can bring your grandmother. You can bring your this. You can bring... We had somebody on the West Side Highway, which I know very well, in Manhattan. He ran over, I think he killed about 8 people. And they never mentioned the 12 people that have been horribly injured. These are not people that have been a little bit hurt. They'll lose legs and arms. They're destroyed for life. Yep. Nobody ever says that. They don't say 12 people were absolutely destroyed.
Yep.
A man goes out to run because he wants to keep himself in shape, and he ends up going home with no leg, no arm. And all he wanted to do is run. It's a beautiful place along the Hudson River. And this guy comes out, and he makes a right turn right where everyone runs. He's on the highway going 50, 60 miles an hour. He just goes there. And he killed 8 people.
Damn.
And injured many, many people. Still in the hospital, some of them. That was months ago. And came in through chain migration. Or he might have also come in through lottery. But he brought a lot of people with him. They say 22 people. 22 people. So this guy, because he's here, now can get the mother and the father and the grandmother and the cousins and the brothers and the sisters and the aunts and the uncles. This is what the Democrats are doing to you.
Wake up, smell the coffee.
And they like it because they think they're going to vote Democrat. Okay? Believe me, they're doing that for that reason.
Think about it. Wake up, smell the coffee.
They're doing it for that reason. And
and
other reasons. But they are doing
money,
it for that reason
vote.
because they're not going to be voting with us for the most part. A lot of them aren't going to be voting. A lot of times it doesn't matter because in many places, like California, the same person votes many times. You probably heard about that. They always like to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy theory, folks. Millions and millions of people. And it's very hard because the state guards their records. They don't want to see it. So we have a lot of things going on, but a lot of things are being straightened out. And I just want to congratulate the state of West Virginia because I am so proud of you. You were with me from day one. From day one. I mean, it was never...
I was too. I just didn't vote.
Now you were with me from day one. There was never like, oh, gee, maybe it's going to be close. And do you remember at that beautiful arena? Where's the arena? Where was the arena, Shelley? At the beautiful, it probably held 7,000 people, and we had 25,000 people that couldn't get in.
Oh, in Charleston.
Wasn't that incredible? And I went before the election. I said, do you mind if I don't come back? Because I want to focus on places where it's going to be close, okay? And everyone said, don't worry about it. Don't come back, right? And we won. I think we won here by 42 points or something. Some incredible number, 42 points. It's getting remodeled. We'll be back, all right? But I remember I said that because I was seeing these polls and we were so far ahead. I said, do you think it would be okay if I went to Pennsylvania, which, by the way, we won? And if I went to North Carolina, which, by the way, we won? And Wisconsin and Michigan, where it was close, states that hadn't been won by Republicans in many, many years. So I really appreciate West Virginia, and I'm very proud of you, and your numbers are incredible. And, you're among the, percentage-wise, you're among the greatest gainers in this country, and I think it's great, and it just wasn't that way, but a lot of reasons. But I'll tell you what, you have done great, and we're working on coal, clean coal. I always say clean, beautiful coal, and we're working, and the miners are happy. The miners are happy, and we'll be looking at that 202. You know what a 202 is, right? We'll be looking at that. We're trying. But 9 of your people just came up to me outside. Could you talk about 202? and we'll be looking at that as soon as we get back. And I think with that, I'll start. You know, this was going to be my remarks. It would have taken about 2 minutes, but okay, that would have been a little boring. No, I'm reading off the first paragraph. I said, this is boring. Come on, we have to tell it like it is. That we have to get Republicans in office. And I think with that, maybe Shelley, I'll let you start off, and you can we can go around, and I'd like to have Jim say a few words, and we'll go around the horn.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And we'll take some questions.
Yes, and welcome back to West Virginia for the 4th time. You could probably drive the car in. Yes.
Okay.
We really do have an incredible story to tell. And, you know, I'm going to go off script, because when people ask me, what is something about President Trump that I don't know, that I might be interested to hear? And I always say that President Trump is an incredible listener. Any meeting I've ever been in with you, you've always listened to whoever is speaking and kind of take it in and then assimilate it and then move forward in a policy sense. And I appreciate that, because you are such a good listener, and you're going to hear some good stories today. Good. I want to remind you and everybody here, which I think they already know, I was one of your earliest and staunchest supporter for the tax cut bill. So it's also no secret, West Virginia, we had some tough times. We really have. But we're in a sense of renewal and great optimism because of the policies that you've brought forward and the Congress has been able to help you with. I have a Share Your Stories initiative, and I'm just going to briefly say 2, and this is going to be brief. I ask people to share their stories about tax cuts and the influence that it's had on you. And I was at a Holiday Inn Express, and I learned that the desk clerk had just gotten her first paycheck from the new schedule. And she got an extra $50 on her paycheck. And she came in the next morning and she told the manager she had this bright smile on her face. She was so happy. And he goes, well, how come you're in such a good mood today? And she said, with that $50, I was able to purchase high-speed internet for my house so my daughter can do her homework. So that is an impact on that person and her daughter.
There you go.
The second instance is a gentleman from Huntington as well, who also just got a $1,000 raise with his company. And he said, it's just amazing. He's been able to save some. He's also, with energy costs going up and traveling now that it's spring, he's able to use that to enjoy more things with his family. So he says thank you. I say thank you. And I look forward to hearing those stories today. And thank you again for coming.
Thank you very much. And Shelley, this will be the last time, April, be the last time that you're going to go that old-fashioned, big, lots of pages, complicated tax form. Because next April, you're going to, in many cases, one page, one card. It's going to be very, very different. Very, very different. So not only will you save a lot of money, because it's a lot of money for a lot of people, but you're also, not to even mention the companies where they're employing, because now they have all this incentive. If you look, Apple is going to spend $350 billion building plants in our country instead of the different places they have them. But you'll have a nice, simple form next year. This will be the last year, so take pictures of it and enjoy it. This is the last time you'll have to file a very complex and big tax form. It'll be much easier starting next April. Jim?
Mr. President, let me just say just 2 or 3 things. First of all, this man is a friend of mine, and his family's been a friend for a long time. I can share with you just this, that what he's done that has impacted our state thus far has changed our state in so many ways, it's unbelievable.
Yep,
I mean, you just think, I ran on tired of being 50th, and we're finally first in all kinds of things. And all of us have a gratitude to pay to this man, his guts.
Amen.
His guts to stand up,
Amen.
like we in a lot of West Virginians do, to change our country, and to do this when he surely to God didn't have to do this.
That's what I've been saying.
I mean, this man stepped forth for all of us. Now, let me just say just this real quickly. The thing that I know about him that you may not is he really cares. he genuinely in his heart really cares about West
People
Virginia.
with heart can
about
feel when
you
another one
and
cares.
about this country. And let me just end with just this, because this I love teetotally to death. The last time he was here, I was in the limo with him, and I said, Mr. President, the ladies down at Hardee's this morning when I was going through were out of their minds.
Uh-oh.
And they said, can you please tell him we said hi and we love him and everything else? And he looked at me and he said, you like Hardee's? He said, I like McDonald's. And then I asked him if he could sign something and give to those ladies. And he looked all through the limo and finally he pulled out his speech. And he said, he wrote, Hardee's gals, take care of Big Jim, a great guy and great friend, Donald J. Trump. Now, I'm telling you, that's what kind of man we have in this office. And I love him with all my heart, and I'll support him to the death. He's a great man. Give him a giant round of applause. Thank you.
Amen. What I'm saying. Standing ovation. What I'm talking.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes.
That's really nice, Jim. Thank you very much. My sons come up, they go hunting with Jim. He's a good hunter, and they go hunting. They love to hunt. So thank you very much for that. That's really beautiful. Maybe I could ask two very smart and very good representatives of you folks to say a few words. I'll start with Evan, who you're going to be running, and you've got a pretty close race going, I understand.
Welcome.
We're gonna know the outcome. When is the actual race? When is it? May 8th. So go out and vote. Evan, go ahead. You're up.
Thank you.
Then Pat.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome to the 3rd Congressional District. Thank you. It's an honor to have you. And as Shelley referenced, it's the 4th time in the 3rd Congressional District. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Terrific. Shelley says people oftentimes ask her, what's something you don't know about the president? Let me suggest something everybody in this room and every West Virginian knows, and that is you're a man keeping your promises.
Trying to, as long as the Democrats don't mess everything up. And those retards and stuff.
I was a proud early supporter of your candidacy. Thank you. You made a promise to the people of West Virginia to end the war on coal. And you referenced the campaign. Right. Remember, your opponent said she was going to put a lot of coal miners out of work.
Yeah.
Until she got here. That didn't work. Right? She came here. Tried to say no. Did I ever say that? That was not a good day. The round table.
You made a promise to end the war on coal. You've kept that promise.
That's right.
Thank you on behalf of the great people of West Virginia. You also said we're going to cut taxes, and you did that.
Yep.
Shelley referenced, I think, some facts and figures. Let me give you an example. Not a lot of people know it, but for the average West Virginian, 2 kids, it's $1,966 more in their pocket because of your tax cuts, Mr. President. Thank you on behalf of the people of West Virginia.
Thank you.
Well, you guys need to wake up some other time.
Now, here's something just as powerful. The average mortgage in West Virginia is $600. You divide 600 into 1,900, and you find out that thanks to President Trump paid the mortgage payment for 3 months of the average West Virginian. You want to talk about making a difference in a family's life? You've done that. You've kept your promise. And I've shared with the president here a couple of months ago, I said, Mr. President, in West Virginia, you have the highest approval rating of any state in the nation because West Virginians understand your policies are working. You ended the war on coal. You signed the legislation I had the honor of authoring that saved 1/3 of all the coal mining jobs in America. And you did that in the Oval Office. So on behalf of the people of West Virginia, thanks for keeping your promise. You're welcome to come back anytime. Thank you.
Amen.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
What other
And it's my
president
honor.
would say they done that?
Patrick?
Well, Mr. President, welcome once again to wild and wonderful West Virginia. It's my pleasure to be up with you at this round table today because your policies really have made an incredible difference in our state. Now, to put this in perspective a little bit, for the previous 4 years as the Attorney General of West Virginia, I probably had to file a lawsuit, it felt like every day, against the Obama administration. Thank goodness we now have an administration to work closely with who's committed to regulatory reform, tax relief, and helping our state out. We had the bullseye on us until you got here, so thank you for that. Thank you. Now, when the president comes to your state for the 4th time, you know that he cares. He has an incredible commitment to the people of West Virginia. The reason why I'm so excited about President Trump and his administration is because on the key issues that matter to our state, your policies are dead on correct. Regulatory reform. This is where you've made an incredible amount of progress. That Clean Power Plan, I sued Obama, took him all the way up to the Supreme Court, and I won. But you know what? It still was pending in the courts. You came in, and boy, we walked into the White House, and it was much easier dealing with the Trump administration than it ever was under Barack Obama. That's an awesome thing for West Virginia.
Amen. Okay, there you go.
You know, on issue after issue, you have a regulation, an executive order you put out, the 1 in, 2 out. Well, I defended your administration. We actually knocked it out of the DC court because President Trump understands we have to dramatically reduce the size and scope of the administrative state. And so he's committed to doing that with his appointments to the cabinet, with his judicial picks. And that's what gets me so excited about it. Now, he also is focusing on the opiate epidemic with the laser beam.
Yep.
I have to tell you, sir, that is our #1 challenge here in West Virginia. We have incredible amounts of senseless death here in our state. But over the last 6 months, we've been working with your DEA and others because we're changing the completely failed drug quota system that spit millions and millions of pills into our state. Finally, after years of me being stonewalled by Obama, the Trump administration is delivering. That is a great thing for the citizens of our state, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. And thank you, Patrick. And, speaking of opioid, because you're one of the top states, unfortunately, in the nation in terms of the opioid problem. But we just had $6 billion approved to fight opioid, to take care of people, to wean them off the problem once it begins. And that came with the tax cut bill also, and very important, $6 billion. That came just with the recent bill, the Omni, and we got $6 billion approved toward the opioid crisis. It's a tremendous crisis, and something that I'm very happy that we're able to at least have the funding. Now we have to start the work. It is not an easy situation. This whatever you call it, it starts and you get hooked so fast. I have a friend, he goes to the hospital, he had a bad arm, he comes out, he's like a drug addict. You get hooked, and you get hooked fast.
Yeah.
And we're spending a lot of money on research so that it's not so addictive. Painkillers that aren't so addictive. These are painkillers where you go into a hospital, you come out, you're a drug addict.
That's right.
And then we have the more normalized drug problem, and a lot of that comes through the southern border, and that's one of the other reasons we're being very strong with the National Guard and with the wall. And we're gonna get it stopped. We're gonna get it stopped. It's not like we have a choice. We have to get it stopped, and we will. Let's go down toward the end, and you could talk a little bit and tell us about what's going on. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, Mr. President. My name's Tony Hodge. I'm a rural mail carrier here in West Virginia. I have my wife, Jessica, with me, and my 2 sons, Hayden, he's 10, and Lennon is 7. They're waving at you.
Beautiful. Great looking.
We are here to thank you for signing the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. Because of this act, my family has been able to save this year $2,417. I want to tell you 2 quick ways of how we've used it. My wife and I, we've talked. We have a modest kitchen at home. We wanted to update the countertops. We wanted to do this for a while. Last fall, we were talking about it. I said, well, let's wait and see what happens with the tax plan. I knew you wanted to have it passed by the end of the year. I said, let's see what happens. The tax plan went through. The new year came around. The economy is rolling. We felt, because of the tax plan, confident as consumers, and we said, you know what, now's the time. We're going to take what we have a little bit extra of. We're going to go out. We're going to update our home. That's one way. The other way is, you just spoke about the opioid epidemic. The part of West Virginia I'm from, Hurricane, it's over near Charleston and Huntington. One of the most effective ways that we deal with the opioid epidemic is through our faith-based initiatives. And because I'm getting a little bit of extra money in my paycheck, and my wife as well, we are able to give a little bit more to our churches, to ministries, and we use these ministries to fight this epidemic going on, ministering to people. We're seeing them set free, and when they're set free and released from the bondage of their addiction, they are becoming productive members of society. They're getting jobs. They're restoring their families. They're finding self-worth and dignity through gainful employment because of the work that our charitable organizations are doing, and we're able to give into that. So there's 2 ways it's directly affected our family. If Jessica, my wife, would like to say something.
I just want to say thank you. I said I wasn't going to cry. Gosh. I just want to say thank you to you for the tax cut. This is a big deal for our family. I think half of this audience is our family. We really support you, and this is a big deal. These tax cuts are a big deal. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for fighting for us. Thank you for caring enough to allow us the opportunity to come here and tell you thank you to your face. My boys, my little 10-year-old wants to be president one day. And
it'll happen. That's fantastic. That's a beautiful family. Thank you very much. So beautiful. Thank you very much. Great family. Thank you. Take good care of them, okay, boys? Take good care of them. Thank you. Please.
Mr. President, first, thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it. I think it's an honor to meet you, and I'm happy and very proud to participate in this event. My name is Nathaniel Bonnell, and I am the president of Citizens Bank of West Virginia. I'm from Elkins. That's where Citizens is headquartered. We're a small community bank. We have 5 branches within the state, and we've operated out of Elkins for 94 years. So we have a long history in the state. Our staff is the heart and soul of what makes Citizens successful as a small community bank in a small town in West Virginia. And because of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, we were able to give every one of our 66 employees an additional $1,000 over and above their normal annual raises. That $1,000 bonus, we talked to several of the staff members, and they've told us several stories, and I brought with me a staff member today that I'll let speak with you in just a moment. But in addition to the bonuses, Citizens operates in rural Appalachia. And we know all too well that oftentimes small organizations like us help support local communities and charities. Citizens Bank, with the savings from the tax plan or the tax reform, we have committed to increasing our philanthropy, and we've made a couple significant contributions for our size to the local nonprofit hospital, as well as the local liberal arts college in our town, as well as some other small things. But I think that the tax plan has given Citizens the opportunity not only to invest more money in our folks, who obviously deserve more, but also invest in our local communities and the nonprofits that serve those areas. So I brought with me today Anita Jones. She is with us, and she is one of the recipients of the $1,000 bonus. And I'd like to let her tell a little bit about her story. So,
great, thank you.
Mr. President, I'm very honored to be here and to finally meet you. My name is Anita Rubianto Jones. I am from Elkins, and I work at Citizens Bank of West Virginia as a mortgage loan processor. I am originally from Jakarta, Indonesia. I got married in 2006, and I moved to West Virginia in 2007. And in 2013, I became a proud U.S. citizen. This country has given me a lot of opportunities to know myself, to be well, to done well in so many things I do. I live in beautiful West Virginia. I left my family back home, but I gained more in here. I found them in my workplace, I found them in college, and I found them in my communities. I went to Davis and Elkins College in 2009, and in 2010, I had my internship at the bank. And 2010, I started working myself up to the position that I am today. And this year, this blessed 2018, I have a wonderful surprise from the bank. We all do. We have $1,000 bonus each. For me, it is such a blessing because I'm going to use that money to add the trip for me to go home, to my home country, to visit my parents and my dad that has not been well. And I have not been home since 2009. Yeah, and I'm going to bring my son, Daniel, to go home with me because he forgot everything about where he came from. It is very important for him to do so. So, and I'm thankful for the opportunity you gave me. And again, I'm very honored.
That's so nice. Thank you. And have a good trip. I know Indonesia very well. Great people. You have some great representatives that I've gotten to know very well in Indonesia. So have a good trip. It's really nice. And you know, your bank, maybe from the standpoint of lending, we've done something very important. We've made it a lot easier for you to lend now to great people that a short period of time ago you were not able to lend because of rules, regulations, and you were lending to people that you didn't even want to lend. And the people that you wanted to, it was all messed up with the rules, regulations, and everything else. And I'm sure you'll find a big difference. But also, we're working on Dodd-Frank right now so that especially the smaller institutions can, like from areas like right here, where you have some incredible people that want to borrow money. They could never borrow money to start a business or anything else. As you know, you're able to do that. The lending difference, you see a big difference right now. And the lending climate and the level of anger at banks was just enormous. It was horrible what was going on. And there's a tremendous difference right now. You see that as a banker?
Significant difference. Community banking is significantly different than, I'll say, Wall Street banking,
right,
and
absolutely.
Tailoring regulation to community banks is really important to small towns like Elkins and small towns in West Virginia. So
that's made a big difference. That's great. And we're doing a step further, and it should be done fairly quickly. We're actually, you won't believe this, we're actually getting bipartisan support. Does anybody believe that? Maybe Joe won't, but most people will. So, thank you. Thank you. That's a great story. Thank you. Beautiful. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Welcome back to West Virginia. We're glad you're here. My name is Sean Farrell. I'm the principal engineer at Service Pump and Supply in Huntington, West Virginia. We primarily serve the coal industry, developing solutions for their water issues. This is my wife, Michelle.
Hello, Mr. President. I'd like to introduce with you today that we have our two children, Carly Collin here with us today.
You're right about that.
Both of our children attend St. Joseph Catholic School, which is a private school in our hometown of Huntington.
Sir, last month we opened for the first time a 529 account. Previously, these accounts could only be used to spend on college education. With the changes to the tax law, we can now spend it with St. Joe for our kids' K through 12 education. It's a great benefit to us. We know a lot of families that are taking advantage of it as well. So we appreciate that change to the tax law that allows us to save and invest in those accounts and spend it on their K through 12 education at St. Joe. Additionally, Service Pump where I work, everybody in the company received a raise as a direct result of the tax plan. So we made sure that everyone there knew that the reason they got raises was because of the new tax laws. So we really appreciate that. On a side note, we had an impromptu spring break trip to Washington, D.C. the last 3 days. Purdue and Marshall both were out of the basketball tournament. So my plans opened up. So we took our two kids to Washington, D.C. and explored all the things that there is to do there. Our son was disappointed we couldn't walk up to the front door of the White House and ask for it. We appreciate that you're here. We thank you for all that you've done for West Virginia and the fact that you're here. And that my little guy gets a chance to say hello.
That's really nice. Thank you. Hello. Thank you.
Please. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Terry Dotson. I'm the chairman and CEO of a company called Worldwide Equipment. We have 48 rooftops in 6 states. Our company is 50 years old, and partly because of your administration, we were able to bring every employee that have been with us over 50 years and celebrate 400 rooms we rented from Jim down at the Greenbrier last May. We've suffered through we employ about 225 people in West Virginia and have 6 rooftops here. We currently have about a $6 million payroll yearly in the state of West Virginia. Our employees this past, because of the tax cut and your administration and the changes that you've made in the energy business, we were able to give every employee a $300 bonus. We've been able to give more rapid raises. We've broken ground on 2 new facilities in another state. Yesterday, we just announced the acquisition of another location that we employ people. You know, this country moves on trucks. 84% of all freight in this country moves solely on a truck. And with the technology we have today, the air going out of a truck is cleaner than the air coming into it. And I can tell you how good that the total country is in business today. That's changed since you've been in office. Is virtually the trucking industry is sold out for this entire year's build, and they're scheduling now for the first quarter. You've made a huge difference. Your tax cuts have made a difference. And I can tell you our people know that your tax cuts have made a difference. I can tell you that it's not crumbs to them when they can pay their car payments and invest in their children's future. It's extremely important that the money stays and turns over in the communities. You're a businessman, you know that. And I thank you very much for the things that you've done, the things that you've made possible by you being in office. And I just pray to God that you stay focused and get it done as it needs to be, because you've done a great job.
Thank you very much. That's very nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good story. Good story.
I'd like to introduce our HR person. Yes, go ahead.
Hello, Mr. President. I just want to say that because of your tax cuts, our employees were able to enjoy bonuses this year. Most of our businesses are located throughout the coal fields. You guys were talking about the war on coal. I firsthand know, not only as an HR director and as a business person, but I'm married to a very proud coal miner. So personally, I know what that wage on war on coal really did to our areas. Our employees, I'm proud to say that throughout the previous administration's war on coal, that Worldwide Equipment we held the line. We had 0 layoffs throughout the entire time. And to me, that only reinforced to our employees how dedicated we were to them. When we were able to give the bonuses, we had employees who, they came at a time where people were looking to travel. They wanted to go be with families. It was over the Christmas holiday when we actually gave the bonuses. We had employees who may not otherwise have been able to travel to see family who lived in other states. We had an employee who actually wrote a thank you letter to Mr. Dodson. He actually used that money to go spend time with his father who was dying during that time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had the means to have done that. We had employees who spent the bonuses on things such as car seats, things that many of us don't even think that maybe, where's that extra money going to come from? And we were able to actually give them a little bit of cushion. And I'm proud to say that under your administration, Mr. President, and the administration, the hardworking people of our company, I feel like they've been able to take a deep breath and maybe relax a little bit and enjoy some of the extras that we're able to provide because of you and your administration. I just want to say thank you on behalf of Worldwide Equipment and all of our employees. Thank you.
That's so nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. And, you talk about the trucking industry. It's true. They're doing very well, and they're building a lot of trucks. And we want those trucks, for the most part, to be built right here in the United States, right? Right here.
Keep the money
in the
where it
U.S.
belongs.
So, and a lot of them are. Thank you. That's great. It's a great story.
Trump, I want to thank you for just this opportunity to address you. I want to thank God for this opportunity as well. I'm not a political person by any means. So, I really don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. I'm a simple man. I'm a father. I'm a worker. I'm a husband, and that's what I focus on. My daughter Haley is in the audience. We have two young sons, Jordan and Jason, that. We have two young sons, Jordan and Jason, that wasn't able to come today. I work for them. We're Christians. We serve at our church, Daniel's Bible Church. Our pastor's with us today in the audience, and he's a big supporter. Carl Dingus, he's up there waiting. I work for Leslie Equipment. We're a John Deere dealership, and last week you was at a cat training facility. There might be our competition, but you was just speaking a lot about infrastructure and how you're going to rebuild the American infrastructure, and that's a blessing to hear from for our company. My job as a parts manager is to make sure that our dealership has the parts in stock to keep the machines that's going to take care of that infrastructure running. So. Just in job security, that's good to know. We also, coal fields are big around our area. It's good to see that coming back. It's also where me and my wife, we are members of steering committee members for the Friends of Paul Auto Fair, which is a large car show in the area. It benefits a lot of local charities, the biggest one being Hospice of Southern West Virginia. And it's great to be able to see you supporting the industries that really supports those charities in that event. The big reason we're here is our family was blessed a lot by the tax cuts. I'm going to introduce my wife now, Elizabeth. She can tell you exactly how that's been a blessing to our family.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting us be here. I really appreciate it. Our family is averaging savings now right over $3,500.
Good deal.
So it's amazing.
With 3 kids?
Haley, she's joined the archery team for her school. We get to travel with her now and watch her shoot archery all over the state of West Virginia, which is awesome. And also, my health, we have some issues with my health, and we have to travel about 3 hours one way to the hospital that I have to go to. And instead of driving down and back, now we can stay overnight instead of making the trip in one day. So that's amazing.
That's great.
It's really, really helped us out.
That's great. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you. And you're doing well, right?
I have surgery again in June, but
You're gonna do well.
yeah, I'm
No
good.
doubt. That's good. Thank you very much. Thanks, really beautiful. Thank you. Please.
President Trump, it's an honor to have the opportunity to speak with you today. And I want to thank you also, again, for coming back to West Virginia. I know it means a great deal to all of our citizens that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Hugh Hitchcock. I'm President and CEO of Davis Trust Company. We're a $145 million community asset community bank in Elkins, West Virginia, about 110 miles north of White Sulphur Springs. We've been in business for over 117 years. We have 45 full-time employees. We're members of the Community Bankers of West Virginia, which is a state affiliate of the ICBA. Last year, about this time, some of our members got the opportunity to visit with you in Rose Garden. And we presented you with one of our red hats, which obviously is a play off your red hat, made famous during a campaign with Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, our red hat is not as famous as yours, but our slogan, Make Community Banks Great Again, certainly goes hand in hand with what you are working to accomplish in America, Mr. President. Thank you. The Tax Cut and Jobs Act, signed by you into law right before Christmas, is a prime example of what you are doing to provide the tools to help business turn things around in our country, and you are turning things around. On the business side, by reducing the corporate tax rate from 34 to 21% right out of the gate, it helps make us more competitive. It improves our bottom line, which in turn enables us to invest more into our community, more lending, more small business lending, more consumer lending, and also invest more in the community. Like Nathaniel mentioned, we're also located in Elkins, West Virginia. We're a large supporter of our community, and we're able to do more. The local college, the local United Way, they look to the community banks, they look to Davis Trust Company. And because of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, we're able to do more. And in this case, our board also, with the benefits that we're seeing, we were able to give an across the board 3% pay increase coupled with a 2% cost of living increase. And I can assure everyone listening, this was much more than just crumbs. It makes a tremendous difference.
Amen.
And Mr. President,
Yes, it does. It so does.
I urge you to stay the course. Stay the course. It's not easy. And what you have done for our country, you again are helping to turn things around in a big way.
Thank you.
And now to give you an idea of what the Tax Cut and Jobs Act means to one of our employees, it's my pleasure to introduce to you one of our recently promoted assistant head teller, Ann McCumber, to explain just what the benefit of the base pay increase means to her. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I am so fortunate to work for a company willing to share their savings from the tax plan with their employees. The employees of Davis Trust Company did not just receive a one-time only bonus, but an increase to our wages. This means more money in our paychecks now and also in the future. I am already using my extra money to spoil my grandsons just a little bit more. I have 2 grandsons. Ethan is 9 and Silas will be 7 tomorrow. Silas wanted a guitar for his birthday and Grandma came through and he is getting a guitar for his birthday tomorrow. His brother Ethan plays the banjo, but has decided now he wants to play the violin. So I imagine I'll be buying a violin in the very near future. I appreciate the opportunity to express my gratitude to both my employer, Davis Trust Company, and also to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And also, I think you were probably in the White House, and I saw a whole group of people. It was over the regulation. They were being regulated right out of business, and we took care of that. And we did it in a very nasty fashion. You would have been very proud of us. We had a man that was a disaster. He really was inflicting pain, wasn't he? It was crazy. These are great people. There was, 100-year-old institutions that were not going to make it. And we took care of that situation very rapidly. It was a terrible thing that was happening to a lot of great institutions, smaller institutions, and now they're thriving, I would say, right? Thriving. Little difference. That's good. Thank you very much. I'm glad to see you in happier times. You were not so happy when I saw you. Yep. So that pretty much wraps it up. We're very proud of the tax cut. It's a lot of people are being helped so much. So many things in there that we don't even talk about when you're talking about tooling and trucking and all of the elements of investment that you have to make. And now you have 1 year expensing. Who would have believed you would have had that? Nobody ever thought that was going to be possible to get, where you could write off your expenses in 1 year. Simply 1 year expensing. I think it's going to be the greatest benefit in the whole bill. I actually think that perhaps could have the biggest benefit in the bill. Tremendous amounts of money is coming. Basically, billions and billions of dollars is being brought from offshore, where big companies, small companies, they had money trapped outside of our country. They couldn't get it in. And I think it's going to end up being $4 trillion will come back in. Already, Apple said they're bringing back about 220 billion, and others are bringing back billions and billions of dollars, and it's coming back at a faster rate than we ever thought possible. So it's really been tremendous. So I just can say on behalf of myself and Republicans and the Trump administration and all of the people that work so hard, it's been an honor. It's had a huge impact on our country. And when you see the numbers are starting to get released of companies and frankly families and their spending habits, and they're able to go out and buy things. And hopefully we're going to start making more things in the United States. And that'll be great when you see elements of your life that were very important and they were made in different countries. I think we're going to start making things here again. And that's very important. When we renegotiate a lot of these deals, we're taking a lot of the incentive away to go elsewhere. We want our people to make products that they're buying, and we want to be proud of it again. We used to have an expression made in the USA, and we don't hear that too much anymore, but we're starting to hear it a lot. We have factories moving from Mexico, and again, we're negotiating a deal with Mexico, NAFTA, and I hope it works out, but it was a horrible deal for our country. It was incompetently drawn. It was a shame that it ever happened. It emptied out millions of jobs, thousands of factories and plants. They left, and a lot of them are moving back. Chrysler just announced they're moving back into Michigan, and many other car companies are expanding and building brand new plants. That hasn't happened for many years, for decades. So it's my honor. We're enjoying it. We're fighting it. We got a lot of people out there that I don't think are very good people, but that's okay. We have some people that are great people. We have some people that really, they love this country more than anything, and they see now it's on the right track, and it's going to get better and better, and you'll see a lot of changes and a lot of very positive changes. But it's been great hearing your stories. Your stories have been fantastic. And Jim, I want to thank you. And Shelley, I want to thank you. And Patrick and Evan, good luck. I don't know. You too. You too. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. President.
That's going to be should we do a little test?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Who's voting for Patrick? Who's voting for Evan?
Uh-oh.
This is his congressional district.
I don't know. Yeah, it's your district. Okay. That was fairly close. That was fairly close. Hey, thanks, everybody. We love you all. We'll be back. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, and that don't tell you what's going on, and that don't tell you which way to go, and everything else, I feel sorry for you, okay? Because like I said, if you're not for Trump on what he's doing, how he's doing it to make America great again, then I feel sorry for you. Okay, if you can't get on the wagon and do what needs to be done, then I ain't got time for you. Okay, because we need what this man is doing 100 times over and 20 years sooner. But being we got him in office now, I am damn glad he's in office. And that's what I got to say on that. So there's that scenario. Let's see what we're probably going on 2 hours on this video. But anyway, let's see. Sarah Sanders hammers liberal reporter after he's trying to corner, I don't know what corner something, but it's only 17 minutes long. Let me see what's going on here. This was...
We're already running long, so we'll jump straight into questions, Sean.
Back in January, the president told several of us that he was looking forward to, willing to answer questions under oath from Special Counsel Robert Mueller. He said he expected it to happen in about 2 or 3 weeks. Does the president still intend to answer questions from the Special Counsel and do it under oath?
The president is working in conjunction with his legal team and making a determination. I'd refer you to them on anything specific regarding that matter. We're continuing to be fully cooperative with the Office of the Special Counsel, and we'll continue driving the same message that we've been driving for over a year, that there was no collusion, and we'll continue to be cooperative until that comes to a full conclusion, which we hope is soon.
So nothing has changed in terms of his willingness to answer questions?
Again, I would refer you to his legal team. He's working out. They would make that determination.
What was the reaction to learning that he is not a subject, or that he is not a target of the Special Counsel investigation, although he is a subject?
I'm not going to comment on the ongoing and the back and forth out of respect for the Special Counsel. But as we've said many times before, there was no collusion between the president and Russia. So nothing has changed. We know what we did and what we didn't do. So none of this comes as much of a surprise. Maura.
I have 2 questions, a Russia question and a DACA question. Does he agree with McMaster that we have failed to impose sufficient costs on Russia?
What McMaster actually said is that we've been very tough on Russia. He echoed the president's message that he said yesterday during the press conference with the Baltic leaders, that no one has been tougher on Russia than this president. What he also said was that other nations could do more and should do more. And that's not different or in contrast to anything that we've said. We've continued to be tough on Russia. We're going to continue to be tough on Russia until we see a change in that. But at the same time, as the president stated yesterday, it would be good for the world if there can be a relationship, but we'll have to see what happens. A lot of that will be determined by the behavior of Russia.
The president thinks other nations should be tougher, but we've been as tough as we can. Is that what you're saying?
We've been tough on Russia, and we're going to continue to be. We're asking Russia to make a change in their behavior and to be a good actor in the process. But absolutely, other countries should step up. We expelled 60 Russian operatives. Other countries did 4 or 5. Certainly, we think everybody can step up and do more and put pressure to maintain good behavior.
On DACA, the president tweeted no more DACA deal. Does that mean when the courts resolve this issue, he will begin deporting the DACA kids?
So if we're not going to get ahead of anything, we have tried and tried. Democrats have continued not to want to participate and actually find a solution. They failed to actually show up and do their jobs as they were elected to do. The president has been very clear, put multiple proposals on the table to fix the problem, and Democrats have not been willing to take a deal that was actually a really good deal and went much further than the previous administration and went further than things that they've previously supported. Frankly, you shouldn't be asking me this question or the White House this question. You should be asking Senate Democrats and members of the House Democrat Party why they aren't willing to actually fix something that they claim to want to champion day after day.
Sir, Larry Kudlow and the Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, both said today negotiations are the most likely way the trade dispute is going to be resolved. Does the president agree with that, or does he in fact intend to put the tariffs on the table, make them real, They're not real yet, and then see what happens.
But we're going through the review period. We're very lucky that we have the best negotiator at the table in the president, and we're going to go through that process. It'll be a couple months before tariffs on either side would go into effect and be implemented, and we're hopeful that China will do the right thing. Look, China created this problem, not President Trump, but we finally actually have a president who's willing to stand up and say enough is enough. We're going to stop the unfair trade practices. Right. We're asking China to stop unfair trade practices, and we're going to work through that process over the next couple of months.
Any change in Chinese behavior, these tariffs will take effect.
I'm not going to get ahead of the process of where we are. We're in the review process right now, but certainly we expect China to make changes and stop the unfair trade practices that they've participated in for decades.
The tariffs will take effect.
Again, I'm not getting ahead of the review process, but I would anticipate that if there are no changes to the behavior of China and they don't stop the unfair trade practices, then we would move forward. John?
In the meantime, Sarah, as all this is taking place, we're seeing some really wild swings in the stock market, which represents billions and tens of billions of dollars in real money. Is the president worried that this saber rattling is causing many people in this country to lose money?
No, the president's worried that we have countries that have been taking advantage of us for decades, and that he's not going to allow that to happen anymore. We may have a little bit of short-term pain, but we're certainly going to have long-term success, and we're focused on long-term economic principles and making sure that we have a strong and stable economy, and that's exactly what the president's doing. Jim?
Question on Amazon. The Pentagon could potentially award a very large cloud computing contract to Amazon. Given the president's recent criticisms of Amazon, is this something you would particularly have concerns about Amazon getting this contract? And would he ever personally intervene in the contract competition?
The president's not involved in the process. DOD runs a competitive bidding process, and I would refer you to the Department of Defense on the specifics of how that process would work. That's not something the president is involved in. Again, this is a process run by DOD, and it's a competitive bidding process. For the specifics on it, I'd refer you to them. John?
Thanks a lot, Sarah.
There's a lot of Johns here today.
The president, as Jennifer mentioned, has railed against Amazon over the course of the past few weeks, calling the deal that they have with the United States Postal Service a sweetheart deal. My question to you, though, has to do with another sweetheart deal. That's the $50 a night payment that the EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt paid to a lobbyist that did business with the EPA. As you know, Sarah, the president promised to drain the swamp. His behavior has actually seemed very swamp-like. Why is the president okay with this?
The president's not. We're reviewing the situation. When we have had the chance to have a deeper dive on it, we'll let you know the outcomes of that, but we're currently reviewing that here at the White House.
Have confidence in the EPA administrator at this point?
The president thinks that he's done a good job, particularly on the deregulation front, but again, we take this seriously and we're looking into it, and we'll let you know when we finish. John? I'm going to stick with the theme here and go to another John, and then I'll start mixing it up.
Thank you, Sarah. Two questions. Last week, BuzzFeed reported that Christopher Steele was claiming in a report, documented evidence, the FBI had a second report on the mysterious death of Mikhail Lesnin, founder of Russian television RT and former press secretary to Vladimir Putin. He died at the Hotel DuPont. Originally, it was said from a fall, but this report said he was bludgeoned after by people hired by oligarchs close to Putin. Does the administration have any comment on this, given the concatenation of commentary on Russia and response to Russian activities abroad?
I don't have anything specific on that incident at this point.
The other thing is, we have a readout from the Mexican foreign minister's meeting here recently, including with the White House staff, Jared Kushner.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last.
I understand.
Are you asking if we're going to have a readout?
Yeah.
Sorry. We're continuing in the NAFTA negotiation. We feel like we've made significant progress. We'll keep you posted as that continues. Jeff.
Advisors that it's important for the United States to stay in Syria.
The president
has maintained all along that our focus has been on defeating ISIS. There, we've made significant progress since the president took office, and under his leadership with the complete collapse of the caliphate there. We're continuing to make progress. We're continuing to work with our allies and partners in the region, but we want to focus on transitioning to local enforcement and do that over this process to make sure that there's no reemergence of ISIS and take away some of the progress that we've made. And so that's what we're moving to as this environment has changed because of the success under the president's leadership. We're evaluating it as we go.
Repeatedly expressed his annoyance or his dissatisfaction with Iran, criticized the Iranian regime. Wouldn't taking U.S. presence out of Syria simply embolden Iran even further?
No, because again, the purpose would be to transition that and train local enforcement, as well as have our allies and partners in the region who have a lot more at risk to put more skin into the game. And certainly that's something that the president wants to see happen, is for them to step up and for them to do more. And that's what we're working with right now. Julie?
Just to follow up on that, the president said yesterday he wanted to see American troops come out of Syria, come home from Syria.
Absolutely. The goal, again, is to defeat ISIS. And once we completely do that, we've made significant progress. And when there's no longer a need for troops to be there and we can transition to that local enforcement, that certainly would be the objective.
What does that look like? What is the yardstick for measuring what eradicating ISIS looks like in Syria right now, based on the conditions on the ground that military commanders are looking at? And secondly, what did he tell his commanders yesterday during this meeting about how quickly he wants to see that play out?
As the president's maintained since the beginning, he's not going to put an arbitrary timeline. He is measuring it in actually winning the battle, not just putting some random number out there, but making sure that we actually win, which we've been doing. We're going to continue doing that, and that determination will be made by the Department of Defense and the Secretary of Defense, which the president has given authority to do that. So yeah.
To local forces doing more
to training and helping transition to local forces to make sure there isn't a reemergence of ISIS in Syria. That's continuing. We've been doing that, and we're going to continue to do that and continue making sure that they're prepared to take that. So yeah.
Things that were talked about earlier, this sense of urgency about sending the National Guard to the border. The secretary sort of sidestepped this question. Does this have anything to do with a report that the president saw on Fox News?
I think it has everything to do with protecting the people of this country. I don't think this should come as a surprise. The president's been talking about securing the border for years, since he started on the campaign trail. He wanted to work through Congress. He asked them to do their jobs. He asked them to pass legislation that actually would close loopholes, that would secure our border, that would build a wall. He asked them to do a number of things. They failed time and time again. And now the president is making sure that in between the Congress actually doing something, he's doing what he can to protect the people of this country. And he's going to continue to do that and look at different measures that he can do that, whether it's through the National Guard, which is what he's doing today, or whether it's through other administrative actions that he has the authority to carry out without having to involve Congress, since they simply, Democrats apparently can't show up and actually do their jobs. No, sorry, I'm going to keep going.
This announcement of sending the military to the border is coming a week before the president makes his first ever trip as president to Latin America. What consideration has the administration given to the signal that sends to a region where the United States has had a long history of military involvement that's been very unpopular in the region? And how does that affect his ability to present the United States vision of Latin America while he's there?
Like, they have tough laws on immigration too. A lot of countries in Central and South America have infinitely tougher laws than the United States. I think they probably understand that the loopholes that we have in this country are a problem, and we want to be able to work with them to address it. We want people to come here, but we want them to come here legally, and we're not going to just have an open border where drugs and gangs and other bad actors can come in. But certainly we want people from those countries to come here responsibly and legally and through the proper process.
Right.
Just to be very clear, that you're saying earlier, as the White House said, that the military mission is coming to a rapid end. The president
just a couple of months ago, just last month, said we should never ever have left, referring to Iraq. He talked about that vacuum. So why wouldn't leaving control over local forces that allow for a new vacuum, just repeat what the president promised, would not happen?
Again, we're going to make that determination. We're evaluating this as we go. Progress has clearly been made with the complete collapse of the caliphate, and we want to make sure that there isn't a reemergence, and we're counting on the Secretary of Defense and our troops on the ground and our commanders on the ground to help make that determination.
He thinks local forces, at some point, he has confidence that local forces independently will be able to manage those countries in those situations.
Certainly, again, we're going to work with those individuals. We're training the local forces, but we also want all of the our allies and partners in the region to step up and do more. Again, they have far greater risk being right there in that region with ISIS. If any chance of them reemerging, they're the ones that are at the greatest risk. So they should be stepping up and doing more. And the president's calling on other countries to do just that. Stephen, sorry, I'm going to keep going. Stephen,
just because this is a historic day.
I'm just going to keep going so we're running light on time.
One on Scott Pruitt. The president called him the other night. Why?
Because he works for the president. It's pretty routine that the president would speak to members of his own staff and cabinet.
Called to tell him to buck up, to keep fighting.
I'm not going to get into private conversation that the president had. I can confirm that they had a call. I can tell you that we're reviewing the allegations, and I don't have anything beyond that at this point. I'm going to take one last question from Mark.
Sir, like Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego tweeted, using the National Guard and border security is very expensive. What it would cost the Guard to make just 2 arrests at the border would give a homeless veteran permanent housing for an entire year. What's your response, and how concerned is the president with the cost of sending this?
I don't think you can put a cost on American life. The president sees securing the border as national security issue and protecting Americans. If that congressman's so concerned, maybe he ought to show up and actually support legislation that would fix these problems instead of blaming the president, who's actually trying to do something about it. We'd like to see him work with us in partnership and actually do something instead of just complain about it. Thanks so much, guys. Hope you have a
good place to put it, right there. Awesome. And she just told the Congress or whoever, the governor or whatever, and just like it was, get your ass off your off your chair and do something. Stop complaining. I like that. Now let me see what this is. Texas Lieutenant Governor talks Trump border security plan. Let's see what that does. So we done heard that. So I can in that. We done heard that.
Let's bring in someone who knows a thing or two about border enforcement.
Okay, here we go. Let's see what this is. It's only 5 minutes.
Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. So talk to us about the impact of the National Guard on the southern border. How will this help Border Patrol, and how will it stop illegal crossings into your state?
Well, first of all, Texas has taken the lead, joining the president in securing the border. In Texas, in our budget as Lieutenant Governor, we have put $800 million into each of our budgets to do the job that Obama didn't do. And thank God for Donald Trump. He campaigned on this. He knew what he was talking about. America reacted. America is supporting him today. I heard earlier your one guest said something about his approval rating. I think they're up over 50%, and with Republicans, 85 to 90%. People get that this president stands for Americans and not criminals coming to this country illegally. So in terms of the National Guard, we welcome it. And I hope he leaves them here until hell freezes over or until the wall is built. Because it makes a difference. When Rick Perry called out the National Guard 4 years ago as he was leaving office, it made a difference. When you have men and women in uniform standing on the border, it sends a message to people that we are serious about protecting our country. We're all in Texas with President Trump on this issue.
Senator Governor, can you expand on that and how crime from illegal immigration has affected the state of Texas, both in terms of a human cost and an economic cost on your state?
Well, let's just look at the facts. I hear Democrats and liberals on Fox all the time and other networks decrying that there are no crimes committed by illegal immigrants. Number one, in Texas only, in the last 7 years, we've put in our jails over 245,000 criminal aliens. These are the facts. We've charged them with over 650,000 crimes, either current or on their rap sheet. We have convictions for 566 murders, 274 kidnappings. And when President Trump talks about rape in Texas in the last 7 years, 3,244 sexual assaults. Join that with 40,000 other assaults, 40,000 drug crimes, thousands of gun crimes, and thousands of gang members like MS-13 in this country committing crimes. When I hear the mayor of Berkeley say sanctuary cities make us safer, it is nonsense.
Amen.
Absolute nonsense. And in Texas, we passed Senate Bill 4 last February, early in our session, and it's been upheld by the courts. We now give the power to police if they want to ask where you're coming from and ask to see your documents. You can do it in Texas. Secondly, if Jerry Brown tried to pull a stunt like he's doing in California, which I think is total anarchy, he's not upholding his oath. Look, the oath that Jerry Brown took is the same thing that I took or Governor Abbott took, except the state changes the name. Right. But we swear an oath to our Constitution and to uphold the laws of the country and our state, and Jerry Brown is not doing it. But in Texas, if any of our Democrats defy working with ICE, we, number one, can find their cities. We can arrest those elected officials. We can even run them out of office. We're not putting up with this nonsense in Texas. And America's with the president. America's with Texas. That's why everyone wants to move to Texas.
Yeah, don't mess with Texas, that's for sure. Just one final thought. What kind of impact is the National Guard going to have in terms of really bolstering the efforts of Border Patrol to get back on the front lines and do what they need to do to stem the increased flow of illegal immigration that we've seen over the past couple of months?
Well, there's a lot in symbolism. First of all, and what you say, President Trump helped border crossings go down by just taking a tough stand, waiting for Congress to step up with the funds for the wall and more border agents. Now he's going from rhetoric to action because Congress won't act. And it's time for Congress to give him the money for the wall. We need the wall. Not in every mile. There's some natural barriers and some you can do electronic, but in many areas, particularly around our big cities where most people cross the border and get into these big cities and disappear into the population, we need walls around these major crossings. We have 19 alone in Texas with Mexico. So having the National Guard send a strong message. Look, if you're from Central America, and that's where a lot of the gang members are coming with MS-13 and other gangs, and you get to the border and you see men in military uniforms and women standing on the border, it sends a very strong message.
Absolutely.
And
of deterrence.
And it will cut down, it will be a deterrent. It will send them back to where they went. And secondly, it will keep us safer. You also mentioned the economic impact. We now have 18%
we're running out of time, Lieutenant Governor. I
it's
really
a huge
appreciate
economic
it,
impact as well as crime.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Really appreciate
Thank you,
your time
Katie.
tonight.
The president is on target.
All right. Thank you. Let's bring in someone who knows.
Lord. They're right. Come on, people. Trump has got to stay in office. Trump needs to stay in office. Okay? We need to get this wrapped up, fixed, and sealed and delivered somewhere else. We need to get it under wraps, under control, and back in our hands. Take the Democrats out. Take these other ones out that's not for what Trump is trying to do, and just slam the hammer. What I'm saying. Okay, now what was that? I was seeing. Darn it, I missed it. I gotta go see what happened. I need to. Flip a duck, screw a goose. Let's see. Come on. Let me see what you're doing here. Fix it. Oh, that's Kevin Owens. No, not Kevin Owens, but Kevin's Corner. I don't want Kevin's Corner, darn it. Not yet. Alright, we'll dispose of you. But that ain't what I've seen. Let's see. Let's see. Shoot bar. Save matches. Shaduski. Let me see if I can find it up here. I think it is. No. Let's see. Talks about, yeah, well, I just left that one. Seen that one. Seen that one. Let's see. I see. Flip a duck. Darn it. All right, let me see. Where the heck did I find that at now? Come on. That might have been what I seen it on. Hang on a minute. Hang on. I'm going to mute you. Oh, I see. Go right there. Go right there. Right there. And I think that was right there. I'm not sure. Hang on a minute, guys. Let me see. Hit that.
You know, I don't even have to do this. You guys are doing a good enough job burning down your reputations all by yourselves.
Alrighty then. Okay, let's see here. Let's see that one. That ain't what I've seen though. Let's see. See, that's 2 days ago. Active shooter at YouTube, seen that. 2 hours and 27 minutes, ain't going there. What the flip, man? Well, flip a duck. I thought I was going to show it, but I guess not. But anyway, needless to say, I'm thinking this video is probably 2 or 3 hours old, 2 or 3 hours long. But I had to show you what was going on. I had to just put it out there and hopefully wake you up, and hope it wasn't too boring. But that's the nonsense we got going on. That's the craziness, the insane asylum part of life. We need to fix it. So, from me to you, if you're not into politics, you don't need to be on this channel. If you're not into the news on what's going on with this nation, you need to be. You really need to be, because things are going to come to a head and a change, and you ain't going to be ready for it. And life is going to just smack you right upside your head. And that's the way it is. So anyway, thumbs up to all those that enjoyed the film, the video, and thank you for watching. And I think I'm going to kill this and go to bed. It's after 12 o'clock my time. You guys take care. Subscribe if you want. Like if you want. Even leave a comment if you want. And we are over and out. Thank you and good night or goodbye.